Carl wakes up to a message from Christine saying that she's arrived in Bristol, and they meet in the Bristol of Vic. David, Christine's donator, was at court in London when it all kicked off, and he hasn't been seen or heard from since. They then go to Ashton Court to arrange getting Christine a new identity and a security detail while she stays in the city, and Frederick, the Toreador Primogen, agrees to have Christine treated as a guest of the Toreador during her stay in the city. Matilda calls her Anarch friends and asks them to meet at her place. Murray, Squid, Mitchell and Ruby talk about the Camarilla refugees coming from London. Ruby receives news of the death of Gareth Davies, a sibling of the cartographer who was found decapitated in his haven, and Matilda gets a message to Nandajal to meet at Ashton Court. Nandajal rises from the dark depths of Kostroma, to her surprise, alive. What did surprise her was to find out her clothes withering away and disappearing. Despite feeling reinvigorated by the water, Yanis' assistant, Ewelina, provides Nandajal with some Children of the Summer appropriate clothes and welcomes Nanj to the family. Then her and Yanis go to Ashton Court to meet with the rest of the coterie. The Master of Trade has separated the first few refugees that had arrived in Bristol into groups. He leveraged on boons owned and offered to grant others in exchange for the coterie accepting a Malkavian, Ventru, Tremere and Gangrel into their domain. Back in their domain, the coterie receives the refugees and briefs them on the terms of their stay. While going over spare clothing from the theatre play, Carl and Annie, the Malkavian refugee, shared a vision in which Alice is pushed out of a fire by Annie and burning in her stead.
Hello.
You're muted, Carl.
Welcome. No, I'm not. I'm muted only in the Discord, but not anymore. Hello and welcome to Blood on the Severn, a Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle set in Bristol, England in the year 2012. With me tonight,
Bex playing Nandjazar of the Ministry.
Peter playing Janusz Kroll of Clan Chmitzir.
Josh playing Carl Frédéric Saint-Jacques de Taureau of Clan Toreador.
Alice playing Matilda Wells of Clan Ventru.
So, thank you for joining us tonight. Last week, as you heard from Hubert's recap, we left things with a rather disturbing shared vision that Carl had while looking into the eyes of Annie, the Malkavian refugee from London. In that vision, you could see how Annie violently pushes Alice out of the way of something, which is not very clear. And then she bursts into flames, or fire erupts around her and engulfs her instead of Alice. Now she is in the floor, sobbing, blood tears running down her cheeks as she's holding her face. And she's quite shook.
I'm shook up as well, having seen this. This is, not great. So I'll kneel down beside her and take her hand and say, these things that we see will not always come to pass.
Clarence is around and says, it's everything all right, Carl?
Clarence, yes. Annie and I have shared a vision. I have never experienced that before with a Malkavian. Is that how they live? How terrible! I'm not sure. I need my privacy. I didn't know that I needed it that much. I enjoy the company of others, after all. I'm sorry, I'm babbling. Annie. And then I'm just kind of stroking her hair and just trying to make her comfortable.
She holds onto your shirt and said, I don't want to die. I don't want to burn. I don't want to burn. Please don't let me burn. Don't let me burn. Clarence is shook. He is looking at her intensity in her eyes. They are bloodshot. And she looks definitely upset. Very quite distressed.
Just gonna see if she wants to get to her feet. If not, and I'll just kind of get some of the other costumes to make her comfortable, like as cushions around her. And and just sit with her and say, "You are safe here at least. And we can talk about this." And then I'll just be silent, but keep hold of her hand.
She starts dragging her feet, half being led by you.
Okay.
Clarence also aids the both of you in this, and you take her downstairs to lay down on one of the beds that, well, the bunk bed that she's going to be using in her stay. And Clarence asks her, what did she see? And she half sobbing tells him.
As she begins to tell him, I will say, "Let us keep this between ourselves for a moment, Annie.
Okay.
It was not real.
Clarence...
It is something that we have shared, but something that, well, it may cause a rift between some people, so best to
Clarence
keep
shoots you a glance, but lets you handle things. She shakes her head at first and then nods and holds on to a pillow and hugs it and lays, in fetal position in her bed, just trying to calm down. Clarence suggests maybe we should give her a little bit of space.
Certainly. I turn to Annie and I say, "I will be back in 5 minutes just to see how you are. And if you're all right, I'll let you sleep."
Yes, thanks. Yes.
"I'm sorry that you have had this ordeal upon another ordeal."
Clarence makes his way, and instead of going all the way to the top floor, he just goes out the front door and stands outside in the street and lights up a cigarette.
I'll join him.
That was... Apologies, I have never seen something like that.
Nor have I. I felt like I was in her mind. It was very disturbing. I have often seen visions because of my blood, but they have always been personal. I have never shared one. Is that what the clan of Malkav is like?
They are seen as madmen, every single one of them. But I have studied this. The visions, they cannot control them. And at some points, they cannot tell what is reality and what is not. And it is rumored that Malkav, founder of her line, and the founder of yours, Arikel, were twins. So it might be that the visions you have because of your blood are similar in nature to the ones she has. Although I've never heard of sharing a vision. Not in such a powerful way. You look drained, but she looks exhausted.
I'm not surprised. But, well, we must make her comfortable. And you, our guests here, I am sorry that we have begun our hosting on such an inauspicious note. Perhaps we should join the others.
What did you see, Carl?
I know that she saw what might have been her end, and I saw it with her. This is why I did not want her to repeat it, because I feel that this is,
I understand. He waves a hand at you and says, I don't want to know. I cannot imagine how dreadful would it be to have the power of sight and then to see your end.
Yes, it is. It is a lesson for me. I have often forced it just to see trivial things, but if I were to see something like that, I would, well, not perhaps be as mad as her, but certainly it would turn my head.
Well, is there anything you would like me to help you with?
No. Your presence is very welcome, at least with me. I should say that the other two members of our coterie, as I mentioned, may not be so pleased to see you here, but a little diplomacy is probably worthwhile. I must tell you that one of them, the library member, Janus, is of Clan Simisi. So I fear what Oscar will make of that.
And you look at him, and he's really puzzled. Shemesk.
Say it how you will, he's one of those.
I mean, no, I'm sorry. I did not mean to correct you in your pronunciation. I've never met one of them, but I was not aware that Bristol had also Sabat.
Oh, he's doesn't seem to be so bad. I've known him a long time. He's a fine fellow, really. When one takes him on his own merits, he is a little bit of a stick in the mud, as I believe members of his clan tend to be. But yes, yes, I think his main problem will be only with one of you, whereas my friend Nanjazal may well have problems with all of you, and has spoken about simply putting you in boxes for the time that you are here. So
I cannot
there's
say that I would be happy with that outcome. So I'm glad it's not the course of action you have taken.
Well, I mean, I don't know what she's doing now. She may be whipping up a few coffins for you. I don't know.
Well, regardless, I might need a little bit of an explanation of how the factions work here in Bristol at some other time. As far as I understand it, the Camarilla is pretty much as it is everywhere else. Am I correct?
We have a number of factions here, and we all sort of get on. Sort of. And in order to, kind of hands across the river type of feeling, there's these cross-faction coteries, of which this is one. The coterie that slays together, stays together. I don't know. I mean, it's all... My Primogen said, wouldn't it be a good idea for me to be involved in this? And I said, all right, foolishly. So here we are.
How long have you been together as a coterie?
All of a month. It's maybe a bit longer, actually. 3 months. It's been marvelous. It's been a picaresque journey of discovery, shall we say.
A few months. So this is a quite new initiative.
It is, particularly given our lifetimes. It's as if it was the life of a mayfly that we've been together, and now this. So you can imagine that we're rubbing along as well as we can, shall I say. And as I'm kind of your representative here, I'm doing my best.
Oh, and you're doing a fantastic job. Thank you for making us feel welcome.
The other two haven't turned up yet. We'll wait and see.
Speaking of the other two, so you were making your way towards the headquarters. Log was driving you there.
Log was driving us, yeah.
So I would think it fitting for you to, by the time you arrive, you see Carl outside the Haven on the street having a cigarette with this man you have never seen before.
Looks like they're here then.
Does this person that we've never seen before look like a member of the undead? Or is he just like a human smoking a cigarette?
He looks like a human smoking a cigarette.
Okay.
So he's not super pale. And actually, I mean, if he's going to be smoking a cigarette, you need to use Blush of Health. You need to be able to breathe in and out the smoke instead of making it a purely mechanical endeavor.
So Yash will, when we've got out of the car, he will look around, see how overlooked this street is. Like, is Clarence easily observable, or is this quite tucked away where he's smoking?
Oh no, this is in the street, but they're next to the door. So unless you are driving past,
Right by. Okay, fine.
so of course Clarence will ask. It's like, is it them? As you see, Nanjasel and Janus.
Yes, that is
get out of the car.
Nanjasel and Janus.
I should say I'm walking at Janus's pace, whatever that is, because I'm actually
Okay,
Slow.
I'll say, this is Nanjasel and Janus. They'll be here in about 5 minutes.
He chuckles, but he covers his face, to make it polite. It's like, oh. And is Janus the man we were just talking about, right?
Yes.
Anything I should know before they get within earshot?
I don't think anything would help, to be honest. And I'll call out to the two of them. Oh, good. I'm glad you've made it. This is Clarence, one of our guests.
Pleased to make your acquaintance.
All right.
Clarence Hillthorpe of Clan Gangrel.
So I assume, Carl, that you have already welcomed them as guests here in our domain.
Yes, we have. We've been through the formalities. One of their number is Aventru, after all, and kind of insisted on it.
Yes, Laura can be a little inflexible when it comes to following protocol.
Understood. These things
Good.
are what keep us away from,
You know what I
NPCs.
always think one of the best ways about observing hospitality is knowing when to leave, innit?
Are you going already?
I was talking to him, wasn't I? I mean, you're here because of what happened in London, but surely you'll have plans for when you're going to leave. This is not a terminal thing, is it?
Whoa, if I am to remain, it's not going to be under your hospitality. I will not be a burden, if that's what you're implying. But should we take this conversation indoors?
Certainly.
Yes.
You
Let us
bet.
go inside and speak as one.
Okay. In the top floor, it's a very quiet affair. Matilda sits in a corner.
Sorry,
Sorry?
is there a lift in this house? Because if there's not,
Nope.
I don't want Giannis to have to walk up 4 flights of stairs. I want to make them come down to this.
Oh no, it's just one story up, like one.
Oh, sorry, I
one
thought you said on
level.
the 4th floor. Sorry, sorry. Okay, understood.
Yeah, on the floor upstairs.
Probably making some quiet small talk with Oscar, maybe. Just asking him.
Yes, Oscar is
Yeah.
being very deferential. Just basically, if you have any concerns about like what happened, of course, because he will bring it up. It's like I'm sure you have questions. He pretty much didn't see anything. He was contacted by members of the Chantry that he needed to bolt, and he did. He did not question his orders. Once he was en route outside of London, he found out about what had really happened. As in, what the attack, and the deaths, and the chaos.
Probably ask him how many members of the Chantry made it out, to his knowledge.
I wouldn't know. And you know that he gives you the look of, even if I knew, I wouldn't tell you. You're asking that is not the kind of question I'm willing to answer to anyone.
That is.
Laura is staring at you with so much like if her gaze could embrace you into the Camarilla, you would be such a good primogen. Like, I mean, she is half in disbelief
Yeah.
She says nothing. But you know what's going through her mind is not quiet at all. You hear the door opening up and a multiple set of, footsteps. You can hear them climbing up the stairs. And then the lot of you arrive, the other four. And
I'm gonna check on Annie downstairs before I join everybody else.
okay. So yes, only Janice, Nangisel, and Clarence show upstairs. Clarence actually makes introductions now that Carl is not around. Like, these are my fellow travelers from London. This is Laura Bowden, and at the mention of her name, Laura stops staring at Matilda, and her demeanor completely changes. She stands up. She gives a slight, nod and bow of the head. Thank you very much for allowing us to remain here and for showing us the hospitality of your domain. We will uphold the traditions whilst we are your guests, as well as the other terms that have been mentioned to us.
What are the other terms that have been mentioned to you?
We are not to leave this place.
That's right.
We are to keep communications to the outside world to a minimum. We have asked if it's possible to be escorted tomorrow evening or another time to procure certain basic necessities, clothes and the like.
Sure, I'll take you.
Thank you. Yes, as my companion said, I am Laura Bowden of Clan Ventru. My companion here, Oscar, and the man stands up, said, I'm Oscar Cantor of the Tremere, Third Circle of the Chantry of London.
You stare at him.
Yeah, do what Nanji's doing.
And he looks at you, looks at Janice, see both of you staring at him, glances at Laura, checks on Clarence.
So I was given to understand there were 4 of you.
Right, it's supposed to be in it.
There were.
Yes. Carl went downstairs to check on Annie. She is.
Why? What's wrong with her?
Oh, well, she's a Malkavian fledgling, and she was quite disturbed and upset.
By what?
I wouldn't know, apparently, for the whole ordeal. And Oscar says, well, I did hear her. It seemed like she was having some sort of breakdown. Was that accurate? And Clarence says, well, apparently so. Carl managed to calm her down stupendously, but she's downstairs. She was laying down, really.
Best go see her, then. Make sure everything's okay, am I?
Yeah, sure. It's your house, after all. And then Clarence
Right, it is.
looks for a place to sit. He walks, looks at the layout of the upstairs space, grabs a chair, and picks it up, puts it in one side of the room, sort of like not in the middle, but in one side of the room. And then he sits down. And the moment he sits down, Matilda realizes that he's squarely in the middle of the line of sight from Laura. Like, if you want to see Laura, you'll have to, edge away. And the same. So he's trying his best not to make waves.
I'll take a little step to the side, and then I'll think better of it, and I'll just stay where I am.
Downstairs, Annie. I'm sorry. I was just jumping with Carl. So
yeah, sorry. Go on. Yeah, go. Yep.
Carl goes Downstairs. Annie looks much better.
Okay.
She looks like the kind of person that has gone through something bad, but knows how to recover. Of course, she hears you when you step in, and she turns, and when she sees it's you, she goes back to putting her head on the pillow. And then she, sits down and starts saying, I'm really sorry, holding out the pillow.
Don't worry.
But I stained it. And you see some blood marks from her crying on the pillow she was holding to her face.
Don't worry about that. That can be washed. I understand how emotional we can be. I am often caught up in my own emotion. And there is nothing to apologize for. What we saw together was terrible for me, but must have been earth-shattering for you. And I am amazed that you are so collected now. It is a testament to your resources that you have, that you are able just to sit there and speak to me at all.
They always come like that.
They do.
Mine always come like that. I never ask for them, and I always have them. And half of the time they show me different things.
Yes.
But in all of them, I suffer.
I'm sorry. If you are strong enough, however, the other two members of my coterie have arrived, and it may be best for us to go and meet them so that you can be introduced.
Yeah, I was told I needed to be a good guest. Let's do that. Yes, I would like that. And
Okay.
she starts cleaning her face.
I shall produce a handkerchief for her.
Excellent. Now
And
she looks
and
like a
then,
woman that has ruined her mascara if her mascara was blood red.
Quite.
Yes.
Well, I'll say quite. It could be quite fetching on another day. And then I'll take her by the hand and lead her upstairs to where everybody else is in their Mexican standoff.
Yeah. So as you are having that Mexican standoff and you say, better take a look at her, Nangisel turns around, goes out, and starts going down the stairs. And she sees on the landing Carl and Annie turning to come upstairs.
Ah. There's one of them now. Hello?
Are you coming up?
We
Or
are. I
is it coming
thought
down
it
to
would
get
be
you?
best if Annie came up to meet everybody. This is Nangisel, Annie.
All right.
Okay. So
Clarence said you were having a breakdown. What sort of a breakdown?
she looks at Carl.
Is it the kind that's going to cause me a problem? That's what I want to know.
No, she had it with me. It was a vision. You know, I have these visions sometimes. It was one of those.
What was your vision of?
I'll talk to you about it later, Nanj.
Is it a problem?
No. But it was rather disturbing and awful for Annie.
That sort of sounds like it's a problem then, doesn't it?
But
I'll tell you
it's
about
a problem
it
for
later.
me. It's only for me. It's not a problem for you, I promise.
Really isn't
If
a problem
you're
for
having
you,
a
Nanj.
problem, that is my problem because you're under my hospitality, right? So I need to know what it's about. All right, if you want to talk about it later, Carl, we can.
I will talk about it
All I'm
later.
saying is, just because it's only affecting you, don't make it not my problem.
Nangisel Bex, I know you are not the greatest fan of rules, but I need you to roll
Yeah.
wits plus insight.
Okay.
I'm just kind of trying to persuade her not
Yeah.
to talk about it. Let's just leave it. We'll talk about it later. If you want me to roll that, I can do it.
No, it's okay.
3.
That is more than 3.
Is it? Okay. You tell me.
Because you had a 10 on your normal dice.
Oh, did I?
And a 10 on your hunger dice. So it is a messy critical.
Oh, that sounds perfect for Nanj.
That is for 5 successes messy critical.
Jesus.
So you see that when you say when you tell this girl, which by the way I have not done a proper physical description. I need to. I know ghouls. Don't at me. You see this girl. She has a brown wavy hair and green eyes, and she's dressed as a, I don't know, 16th, no, maybe 17th century lady. Well, or not lady. A woman of the 17th century, maybe a peasant. You do know it's from the play. After checking it a little bit more, it's from one of the plays or one of the costumes, but she just looks so natural,
Okay.
like a farmer's daughter from the 17th century, and then she has this sort of like air around her of distress. And when you tell her that if you're having a problem, I'm having a problem because you're under my hospitality, you feel her demeanor. You feel a wave of connection from her. She is immediately drawn towards those words as if she's been reassured. She feels like her shoulders drop a little bit. She feels safer in your presence because of what you said. Your beast smells that as weakness.
Okay.
As if she were acknowledging you are the alpha, but now she expects you to provide.
Okay. I'll say
So yeah, I'll let you run with
Okay.
with a messy critical. If not, I will do
Okay.
something appropriate.
Okay, fine. Well, I'll say because Carl's still there, I'll say just because it's my problem, don't mean you're going to like my solution.
You feel pretty much the safety net that you have drawn for her vanish in the floor. Like the world just falls for her. Her instinct is to squeeze Carl's hand a little tighter. And you, now that you turn, I think you're muted, Josh. But as Carl turns around, and
Apologies,
sees her,
yes.
you
I'm
can see her.
going to just give. I'm just going to give Nance a bit of the eye here, and say, suffice to say that Annie here has had a severe trauma that I don't necessarily want to bring up in her presence again. But I will tell you once we are alone what's been going on.
All right. So be it.
You start making your way upstairs.
Yeah.
Rest of the ones who were closer to the door would have heard Nangisol's words.
Yeah.
So
I'm not quiet. So
because she's never quiet. And this girl that I just described shows up with Carl. And she briefly scans the room. Her eyes linger a little bit longer on Yanis because she's sort of as if she was struggling to recognize the face. And now that she realizes that this is not a face she would recognize because it's the first time she sees him, she would bow, say hi, thank you. She looks like, again, as if she had like red mascara and has been cleaned from her face, but still some traces are there, and her eyes are still a little red from what could have been sobbing. After she finishes her scan,
or on mute, Pete.
her eyes linger a little bit on Matilda, and then she just walks backwards until she meets the wall of the opposite corner of the room from Matilda.
So it's just
Again? What is this?
so it's worth saying that when Janusz clocks Annie, he will, not in a massively obvious way, but he will lean slightly in her direction, and his eyes will go to her bloody cheeks and linger there for a few moments. Carl, who's known Janusz for quite a long time and is very perceptive, I suspect will be able to ascertain that Janusz is quite hungry. But But he's
So
not. He's not giving it away, obviously. But it is there. It is there to read if you know him well.
So if she's introduced herself, they've all introduced themselves now, haven't they?
Well, the only one that was missing is Annie. Clarence will do that for her. It's like, allow me to introduce the last of our group. Her name is Annie Turner of Clan Malkavian. She is but a fledgling who was to be presented at the, well, not last night's, two nights ago court, but the next court. Officially, she's still new to all of this. She was embraced.
Well, congratulations then, isn't it, Annie? Seems like if you weren't presented at the court, you got away scot-free, if you ask me. Anyways, your introductions are done. I should introduce myself. I'm Nan Giselle. My blood hails from the ministry.
Laura looks at you, and she just asks, I am given to understand Kindred here in Bristol have faction allegiances.
You're right. Mine's the Autarchus.
Thank you.
And I am Janusz Kroll of Clan Chimitsu.
Nothing changes in the demeanor of Laura. Because if you could be in her mind, what causes her more of a shock? A Shimizu or a Ventru Anarch?
It's a tough one.
That's a tough one.
It's tough. I'm going to go Ventru.
Oscar, on the other hand, he just stands very rigidly.
So Janusz will say,
I will. I
okay.
just look at Clarence and raise an eyebrow.
I will say,
T-Trucks.
I understand that all of you have accepted your place here as our guests, and as my clan still honours the old ways and the traditions. I'll be looking at Oscar as I say this. Then you can rest assured that providing you abide by those traditions, you will be without fear whilst you dwell here. And any crimes of a personal nature or of the blood will be overlooked for the duration of your stay. I must say, I am curious. We have heard little of what has happened in London, aside from the fact that it is catastrophic in its scale. Do you know who brought such catastrophe upon one of the greatest domains of our kind?
Laura mentions, well, sadly, there is very little information right now. But I had managed to contact some of my clan. It seems it is a new threat. We do not know exactly who they are. But the rumor is that they hacked into the databases that some of the Nosferatu held. They obtained information, sensitive information of many influential kindred, their feeding habits, their havens, their places of residence, their security measures. And apparently orchestrated an attack on many different places at once. So whomever they are motivated and very well funded.
So Janusz looks like he only understands about 50% of what she just said. But he will, after a long pause, say, these thieves of knowledge, they are a mystery to you. You do not know whether they are kindred or kine or something else.
No, we do not know.
And you know that they likely know much about you, but you do not know what they know.
Yes. We do not know how much they know. I don't even know if they know about me.
It's trouble to our doorstep, yeah. That's what it is.
I take it you cannot guarantee to us that you were not followed.
Well, part of my travel happened during the day. No, I cannot. I mean, once we arrived, we were taken to a place near the train station, Temple Meets. And from there, we were taken in a small... It was a booze cruise or something. It's a small vessel.
It's a boat, isn't it?
Yes. And then we were separated into groups. Us four got banded together. We hopped into a van and we were delivered here. So we have been at the mercy of I believe it was the autarkies, the people who have been, like, definitely we were questioned by them, but I don't know if they have been the ones in charge of the whole process since our arrival here.
Well, since you got here, you would have been dealt with by us. But all the way here, some 100 miles or so, any bleeding bastard could have followed you, couldn't he?
Yes, absolutely.
And since we don't know if any of you are the specific reasons this happened in the first place, seems likely you're bringing trouble to our doorstep.
Seems that whilst you are our guests, there is also an additional side to this, for these are not ordinary circumstances. You have not simply come to visit Bristol. Mm-hmm. You have fled an unknown threat that has proved most dangerous.
Yes.
We can guarantee your safety whilst you are here, but we must also look to the safety of Bristol and others within this domain. Therefore, any things you require should be brought here. You should not leave until we are certain we can transport you safely. So you should make yourself as comfortable as you can.
Well, it's going to be difficult in such small quarters, but they are very appreciated. At this, Clarence says, well, does that extend to your domain? So we're not allowed to go outside your domain even while being accompanied by you?
I'll lean forward and I'll say, until we know a little more of what we are dealing with, I would not have you leave this building.
Agreed. Camarilla said they're sorting you out with food. Food can be brought here.
I'm not sure how our feeding is going to be arranged. I have not, we were told the Camarilla will be taking care of that.
Yanis will look to Carl to see if Carl is what he knows.
Mute it.
I can't speak up, Carl.
You're old, Yanis.
What? Oh, hello. Yes. My mind was a million miles away. Anyway, yes, you're right. We are going to we're going to provide food for them. I'm not sure how. Also, given that we aren't supposed to communicate electronically at all at the moment, I wonder if that applies to new electronics. Perhaps some burner phones may be in order.
We can sort you out with burner phones.
That'd be nice.
But I ain't giving them to Lee's lot.
From the corner, Annie says, I don't need one. I don't.
No.
Why not?
Yanis will smile at Annie.
How are you
that
going to
comment.
communicate if not by phone?
With whom? If I'm going to stay here all the time,
Yes. She does not need a phone.
the only person I knew in London was my sire, and and the people he introduced me to. I'm not from London, you see.
Where are you from?
From the northwest, south of Liverpool.
What about the rest of you? Are you born in London or are you all from outside?
Oscar says Eastern Europe originally.
Yeah. Should have guessed.
Laura says
Well, steal your lamb from someplace, ain't you?
I am a Londoner, but I spent about 25 years outside the city. Returned about 15 years ago. And Clarence says, well, I am in a similar situation. I lived in Richmond, moved out. I was out of London for about maybe the better part of 30, 40 years. And now I've been back for only a couple.
So it seems to me, and you could go back to south of Liverpool. You could be there a problem then.
But I don't know anyone there. My family has not seen me for 5 years since I've been embraced. They think I'm dead.
There is time for you to make plans, Annie. For now, you had best all rest here. Does anyone have any urgent requirements that must be met?
Well, according to the laws and traditions of the Camarilla, Laura says, I need to have an audience with the primogen of my clan. I have already presented myself, all of us, to the prince, but now my clan protocol needs to be followed. And it is a similar situation with Oscar. He needs to meet with the regent of...
Allow me to make inquiries as to whether they can perhaps make a quick trip out here to say hello.
I'm not sure that would be wise, I think.
Me neither.
I'd rather...
Shall we say that we will do what we can to help you in a manner that will ensure the safety of this domain? And we understand that you have traditions that are important to you. But for the moment, the most ancient of ones must hold precedent.
Absolutely. As long as, well, the primogen, the Ventral primogen and the Tremere regent are aware of our presence here and our desire to seek audience with them, we are willing to wait as long as necessary according to your rules of hospitality and their own availability.
So be it.
Oscar has not moved an inch from the place he's been. He's still standing there in one piece with his face really, like, he looks like a clenched butthole.
It's a good look for a Tremere.
Yeah, perhaps.
I'm definitely
Classic Tremere, really.
definitely any chance I get just staring at him in a hostile way.
He rarely, if anything, meets your gaze. He most of the time he's looking down and looking at Janice, and then, like, as if he were trying to compose himself.
So every time his gaze goes up and falls on Yanis, there'll be like a little flicker, just the slightest flicker of like a snarl, but not a full-on one, but just like a little.
Yeah.
But he won't really acknowledge Oscar unless Oscar speaks directly at this point. He'll mainly be talking to Laura, I think.
Clarence says, is there a possibility of us having a TV that we could use to spend the evening?
Certainly. I'm sure that can be arranged. Is there not one here?
Probably not in the upstairs area, but
No, there might be one downstairs that was set up as a closed circuit TV for
the
for a
security
backstage area.
on the backstage. Yeah.
Just looking at different stage spaces around the around the whole area. So I'll suggest that we bring that up later.
Cool.
Is there anything else you need?
Annie says, I was a little peckish, but I can wait a day or two.
No, you can't wait. That's a bigger problem, isn't it?
Yes, it is not good to go hungry for too long.
Certainly not under our hospitality. After all, you get too hungry and you lose your shit. I'm going to have to put you in a box, aren't I?
Again, I will look at Clarence and raise my eyebrow.
He literally, like, at the second mention of a box he has heard in the last 20 minutes, he's not really liking this. He actually turns to Matilda, like Clarence turns to Matilda, as in, who is this woman?
I'll just give him just the most non-committal shrug.
I'll say to Annie, you need something to eat now. I'll go out and get you something and bring it back right now. And I will go and do that.
No, I can wait for Carl to talk to the Camarilla.
Which I will do as soon as I can. I mean, I don't know how. Again, I don't know what the protocol is. It wasn't really explained what we can and can't use electronically. But I could always go and ask somebody. I don't know what time it is. Borrow.
It's about
your phone, mate.
Maybe it's about 1:30. They arrive at around midnight, so it's maybe at 1.
I'm gonna.
Perhaps he should just go for tonight and just.
I'll go and get her something. It's easy enough. I know the Camarilla's covering it, but what's important at this point, like Jan says, is that the old ways are observed. So if I give you something to eat now, everybody's happy. Nothing goes wrong.
Yes. Okay.
I'll go and yeah, it's 1 a.m, right? Everybody's asleep.
Yeah.
Break into a house and get some food, right?
Yeah. So Jan's just going to make his way across the room fairly slowly towards Annie.
Mm-hmm.
And when he's kind of like he's not trying to whisper or be subversive, so people who are listening might hear him, but he's not. He's speaking to her rather than to the room.
Mm-hmm.
He will say, "You look as if you have been crying, child."
Yeah, a little bit. It's been a little too much.
Yes, I imagine it has been a difficult few nights for you.
Yes. But I will be fine. And she raises her eyes, looking at Carl.
Yes, we can talk about this a little later, perhaps, Janus.
Very well. I'll turn back to her and say, it is a terrible thing when people steal tears from you. So perhaps if you stay long enough, I will teach you how you can give them as gifts. And then I will make my way off, because it sounds like Carl wants us to go.
Yeah. So, anyone wants to do anything tonight that requires a little bit of, like, involvement, like scenes that you want to play? Because if it's something like Nangisel finding, enough food for her to slay, like for Annie to slay one hunger in the middle of the night in your domain, that can be easily done. I don't think we need to run a scene for that. Carl can get in touch with the Camarilla, and he will be told that the procedure is that someone from the Camarilla will go and pick them up, drive them to Camarilla territory, where they will be provided with food there, but also with the possibility to mingle with their with their
primogens.
Well, that is the method that is going to be used when the primogen and the regen are going to be met, and also for them to mingle with the rest of the Camarilla. So again, they are, so they are not a full-time burden for all of you.
Yeah, I know that Clarence wants to put down roots. He said he probably wanted to stay. So.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not letting Nanj know that, obviously.
No.
But,
I want to talk to Carl about this vision. It doesn't have to be tonight, but if there's
likewise.
I want to have a coterie chat about what I saw anyway.
Okay. Oh, so that can happen after things are sorted. So conversations from the coterie, conversations that the coterie need to have with other people will happen. So things will get sorted. Alice will mention to the gang what's going on. Janice will be able Matilda will tell the gang everything. Janice will be able to make the arrangements. The fight, like he just finished the night before the rituals that he has been preparing for the domain. So now he needs to feed and.
Yes. So he'll be going back to see his lovely followers before the night's out. But I'm figuring that we're going to have this talk kind of fairly soon after.
Yeah, probably the following night that you can have like.
Oh, okay.
Because if you're going hunting and Nangisel is going to fetch some blood, and Carl is going to figure out what's going on while Matilda keeps an eye on them. When the news comes back, is basically tomorrow someone will come, they will pick them up, and they will take him out. So, of course, through Carl, they are asking for permission of one Camarilla member to enter your domain for the purpose of picking them up, picking the refugees up and leaving, instead of having to do it through the Herald.
Yeah, well, I'll mention this to everyone else. Is it all right? I mean, if somebody comes here, because then they can be picked up. Otherwise, they'll have to leave and walk across our domain in order to get to the other side of it.
An arrangement can be made that one person is the same person that's doing the pickup and the dropping off every time. So you know that there is one Camarilla Kindred that is coming and going.
The only other thing I want to do that night is go and sit with my feet in Jan's River.
Yes, you can end the night there and actually.
I mean, I'm not going to stay on the side so I can be burnt in the sun. I'm going back into the house. But at some point,
Okay, so by the end of the night, you have arranged all of these things. Nangisel will find a very sweet gesture from Evelina. So when you go into your room and you close the door, on the inside of your bedroom, there is a very neat, it looks still shiny, very new poster. It looks very new of Depeche Mode. Not your favorite album, but still.
This is very impressive.
But still.
This has gone up in my estimation of this.
Well, I mean, Evelina, you have known Evelina since you have known Janice.
Yeah.
And she's been growing up through the years, and she has been exposed to you and how much you like Depeche Mode. Now that she knows you're living with them and that Janice doesn't like them, people having those posters on the outside, she puts it on the inside. So it's just for your enjoyment.
So then before I crash out for the night, I will write her a note that says thank you and leave it in her room for when she wakes up.
Okay. The following night, when you all wake up, so everybody that needed to slake hunger is slaked. But everybody will be dropped to hunger 1. But now I will need rouse checks from the 4 of you, please.
Rouse check.
So on the bottom.
On the bottom,
Button for it.
So Nangisel goes to.
I'm hungry.
Well, you go to hunger 2. Janice is well fed. Carl is well fed.
1 second.
And Matilda's definitely. I mean, statistically, Matilda should go hungry.
Oh, Jesus, I did it twice.
Yeah, don't worry, you don't get to hunger 3. You're just at hunger 2 at the moment. So you just mark it down at your hunger level, hunger 2 for the girls.
Thank you.
you get a text, Matilda, from Caleb,
Yes.
Obasi's child,
Okay, yeah. Cool.
saying, "Hi, I've been told by the man that your coterie needed a Camarilla vetted chauffeur. Since you know who I am, I'll be the one picking them up."
Alright. I'll send him a text. Just great. Full stop. Thanks. Full stop.
Loving relationships between the Anarchs and
Yeah.
the Camarilla.
Do I know what his car looks like?
Sorry?
Right, it's like would I like if
No, you have
it's
met
fine.
Caleb. You know
Oh,
Caleb.
yeah.
Yeah. I will
That's
describe
fine.
later,
Okay.
but you have interacted with him plenty. Carl, sorry.
I'll pass it on. Sorry, I'll pass it on to the rest of the coterie that he's the guy who'll be picking our gang up.
By the time Matilda sends that message to Carl, he had already had confirmation. Obasi's child, Caleb, will be the one picking them up this evening. He has made sure that Laura has an audience with Obasi, the Ventru Primogen. Although the regent is a little harder, he doesn't mention that all in your message, but
Well, I know Obasi. I don't know the regent at all. So.
no, exactly. You know Obasi, you don't know the regent. You know he's the sheriff, and with the murder of Gareth Davis, this sort of impromptu coterie was formed with him as part of it to investigate that murder. So he's going to be busy for a while. But you have seen and met Caleb, so he's someone that Carl and Matilda have interacted with in the past. When he shows up, he is a man in his mid-30s, very smartly dressed. He handles himself with the sort of air that comes with a good education and a very good bank account with several numbers that help them, solve most of the problems, He has green eyes, dirty blonde hair, very nice, neatly trimmed, a beard as well, a very short beard, very fashionable, very, very businesslike. Matilda, Carl, lovely to see you tonight.
How splendid!
Right.
Yes, your charges await, and I shall just call inside and say, "Hey, everybody, your lift is here. Do jump in, and the lovely Caleb will take you to where you need to go."
Caleb waits for them in the landing as they come up the stairs, and he introduces himself in turn. It is very for Laura at least. It is very heartening to see a fellow Ventru when Caleb
Real venture.
Yeah, he does do the proper thing. The proper thing that Matilda has seen and done in the past. Evening. My name is Caleb Thompson. I am the child of the Primogen Obasi Kikilomo of the Ventru. Welcome to Bristol. Please. And to each and every one of them, he mentions his name, his clan, and his to Laura, he goes a step beyond and does the full introduction, saying, "I am the child of Obasi Kikilomo, child of former Prince William Rhodes." So she knows his lineage, and she does the same with him. They seem quite pleased with the exchange of pleasantries, and everybody.
Tilda's rolling her eyes so hard.
It is a little noticeable for Carl that Annie is very quiet, walking around and away from Matilda to get in the other side of the car. So she's trying to Be not next to Matilda. Matilda will notice this. Like, Annie does not want to be near you. And probably that memory is coming back. It's
Yeah.
like, I remember Carl mentioning that the Malkavian might be, there might be some friction between the Malkavian and myself. But now, if there is going to be something like that, you're 100% sure it's going to be because of her weird attitude, because she's giving you some attitude right there.
I'll give her space. I don't want to like antagonize anything. So if she wants to move away from me, I'll just sort of let her.
Cool. Everybody jumps into Caleb's car. Caleb approaches Matilda and very quietly says, of course, Carl is not close enough to hear what's going on. But then again, he does have heightened senses. Do you wish to listen to what he says to Matilda?
Muted.
It's because I'm listening very hard.
You're not muted. You're just very intently.
Just so concentrated.
He approaches Matilda and says, "My sire would like to have a chat with you at your earliest convenience. Just let me know when you're ready. Call me." And then he jumps in the car and leaves. Carl and Matilda are going to have any sort of conversation before Nanch and Janice
Yeah,
show
I'd
up?
probably say to Carl, what's up with Annie?
Well, I was going to wait until the other two get here because there's rather... But for you, I think we have some... There was... Well... She and I had a vision which we shared. That's never happened to me before. As you know, I get the odd little premonition. But this was rather more earth-shattering as it involved her saving your life and possibly even finding final death herself as part of the same vision. So it traumatized her immensely, as you can imagine. Being a Malkavian, her mind is perhaps fragile.
Sorry. What, like, when and where? And I mean, how
Downstairs.
detailed
You know
is
when I went downstairs to find some costumes for her and Clarence, as we thought that might be something to break the ice? Well, it perhaps broke more ice than I was expecting it to.
Right. Okay.
It formed some sort of bond of vision between the two of us. Not something I wish to rekindle, I must say.
You've never had something like that before? You never
No.
shared it?
My visions have been entirely my own until now.
How accurate are they? Do they always...
There's always
come true?
something true in them.
Right.
So all I'm saying is that is why she is, I think, avoiding you. She still feels traumatized by that, having seen you in a vision which included possibly her final death.
Right. Okay. Well, we should talk to the others. Did you see any more apart from, like, what kind of final death? What happened?
Fire.
Okay. Right. Yeah, we should talk to the others about this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, did you hear about Gareth?
Yeah, I did, yes.
Did you know him?
Well, I know everyone, but not well.
Bad timing, isn't it? Or weird timing.
It is. Losing one of our number is very bad timing. Although we do have replacements now. There is that. But
Silver lining, I guess.
But losing one of our own is not good because it stirs the hornet's nest.
Oh.
At a time when these people are already smashing it with a baseball bat.
Yeah. It's a bit tricky. Anyway.
It is.
Okay.
Right, let's...
So, I'm sorry. You were saying something? Okay.
No, we're basically going to wait for the other two to arrive.
Yeah,
I think.
and that's what I was getting into. So
yeah.
Nangisel and Janus make their way to the house.
And I'll say,
to the headquarters.
So, and I'll say, so what do you think of our merry band, you two? Then you must love them.
Well, ain't nothing that ain't convinced me that they might not either be something to do with everything that happened there and just coming in here undercover, like causing problems here. I don't see nothing to disabuse me of that. I mean,
Apart from the fact that they were vetted by Teach.
By you?
By Teach, weren't they? By the Artakas.
They
Your boys
are-
vetted them.
so-called refugees, that don't mean they can't have ulterior motives.
I don't believe they are here to threaten us directly.
Now, I don't think that either, but I'm talking more about the city. If whatever happened there was intent on wiping out everything in London, what's to say it ain't going to come after them here?
I think it is very likely it may follow them. It may already have followed them.
And I can't say I've found anything I like enough about any one of them to be prepared to stick my neck on the line for them.
No, of course not. However, while we can look after them, then we should. And
I think we ship them off as soon as we can. Then there's someone else's problem, aren't they?
4 days was the arrangement, I think. We've had 2 now.
So what about this girl Annie then?
This girl Annie's a bit of an odd one. Well, she's a Malkavian, so that's what you'd expect. And I'll tell them the same thing that I told Alice, rather than
Yeah. So you hear the shared vision that
So in your
her and Carl had. That is an odd thing, and that it involved somehow Alice and Annie's final death by fire.
So you said Annie was pushing Matty out of the way.
No, I didn't. I did
Didn't
say
you?
I said nothing of the kind.
No,
Sorry,
I think it was,
that's me. Well, I thought Annie was saving her life. Have I got that
All
wrong?
I'm saying
Yeah.
is that as far as I could see, it was very veiled. But Annie for somehow saved Alice's life,
okay,
and yet
fine.
may perhaps have met her final death in the same. So I am saying it again, in the same vision.
Okay, so what? Sorry.
If it is the sorry, I think I'm just probably faster than Janusz. So as Janusz
No,
is
it's
taking,
alright. Go on.
all right. And so if it is a vision you have seen, Carl, where Matilda's very existence hinges on Annie being here, then she should stay here.
Well, I had thought that, but this may be beyond our gift. If the
Or is
powers that
it
be
too?
take them away.
What was that, Carl? I didn't hear you. You said it may be beyond our gift if something.
If the powers that be decide to take them away from us, I think
Whilst
that we will see this vision. It was a very, very strong vision. Usually I can feel that. I can feel whether something is metaphorical or nearer the truth, and this seemed to be. This was as deep and affecting as any sight that I have had like this in all my undead years. So it was, well, to me, it took me aback, and I'm still thinking about it. To someone who perhaps saw their own death in the presence of someone who they had just met, myself. I
Yeah.
can
The fact is,
imagine
we don't
that
know-
it was
we don't know
enormously
when.
traumatizing.
it will happen. We don't know even if. I mean, how
No.
how
There were
reliable?
no
I mean, if you're
clocks
getting
or calendars in this vision, I'm afraid.
But we do know that Carl is gifted, and we do
very much
know that perhaps your existence might hinge. This is a warning. This is something that we can grasp, a gift from above. It might save your very existence, Matilda.
In which case, I agree, she should stay around, and it sounds like she doesn't have much connections. Nanj, when you're asking her about shipping her off back north, she didn't seem particularly happy about that. And I don't
It
necessarily
doesn't matter to me if she's happy, does it? It only matters to me if we're solving a problem. And
She's
the
made
point of
no
fact is,
decisions. I believe that Laura wishes to move on to America. That's what she said before you arrived. And that Oscar wishes to stay here, as does Clarence. But Annie has made no decisions. She is, well, she goes where the winds blow, I imagine. Given her clan and her demeanour, she doesn't seem to plan much.
seems to me, if you're seeing her disappearing in a ball of fire, she ought to spend more time in the water. Straightforward solution.
Indeed. Indeed.
Be an easy way to
in the
protect
water.
herself. In the water, right. She ain't going to burn to death in the water, is she? Water protects you.
Yes. Yes, quite so. We should speak with Annie. I think we can find some space for her. Perhaps also it is a blessing of a kind that she has not yet presented herself formally in court. She is not yet recognized. She is free.
She has been presented to the prince.
Yes.
Still, perhaps she is still has time to make her own decisions in this matter.
Well, I may be able to prevail upon her. I think she trusts me.
Good, Carl. Yes, you should do so, and I would like the chance to speak with her as well. I know what it is to lose family and to be alone in this world.
In the meantime, May, seems to me like if something's going to happen, what's going to put you in danger, you and me ought to stick close together.
Yeah.
And if he tries anything on, I can punch him in the face, right? Then it's not going to get to balls of fire or like.
Pretty good at that. I don't necessarily want to. I don't want to put you out. I've got other things to do, but I'd appreciate
You ain't putting me out, are you? We're a team, aren't we?
Say so. But no, if you want to, then I would appreciate that very much.
Right. I say we got to be proactive.
We would be fools
Carl's
to ignore this warning.
Exactly. If Carl's right and this is some way going to come to pass, got to be able to find out more stuff about him.
Well, my visions, as I say, sometimes they're metaphorical. This one seemed like it had basis in reality, but whether or not it is actually fire, or I don't know. I mean, it could be something else.
Question is, Carl, are you gonna be able to convince her to even stay around if she's seen her final death in this situation with one of us, with me? Is she even going to want to stay beyond 4 days?
I don't know. We can.
Well, I reckon we tell her we can fix that problem, right? And she's definitely going to want to stay.
I think
I
if
will
that
convince
comes
her.
from either of you two, then she really will smell a rat.
That ain't true. I'm not going to try and convince her of it, but Jan will. He's good at that.
I will convince her.
And he's right, too.
He's right.
Yeah. Jan understands these things.
All right. I'm confused.
Yeah.
Now hasn't been like
A couple of
this
looks.
with Yanis until now, so that's I'd probably look at Matilda and go, something odd's going on here.
Yeah. Right.
Well, with that conversation out of the way, you discuss it with the refugees. So, unless anyone wants to do anything in the immediate future, a couple of weeks will pass, in which is a very normal, it is established sort of as a rota. Caleb will come, pick them up, take them to Camarilla territory, and then he will, contact you to say that he will deliver them back. He does this every 2 or 3 days. So at least 2 to 3 times per week.
Oh, I thought they were only staying 4 days. Is it longer? Okay.
No, 4 days was to set up the whole lot. It was going to be a couple of weeks, but no more than a month. Remember?
I think that Janusz will want to talk to Annie long before like 4 weeks have gone by.
Oh yes, absolutely. So we're just going to jump maybe a week into the future, a week and a half. So we're talking that tonight was the night of the 18th of October. So we're going to take it to the 24th or something, 25th. But in that time, there is, Carl will hear it. Clarence is a very likable chap. Some people would like to have conversations with him, and some of them have approached you saying, hey, can we just go and hang out with him? And you, of course, you run it by your coterie and then returns like, well, why don't you wait 2 more days until Caleb takes them to you, because your coterie is trying to tighten, the security around the domain.
Yes, I'll just say, that
be polite.
A couple of members of the coterie are getting rather jumpy, and that they would rather, it's a small area, really.
Is that Anna Adventure, isn't she? Is that,
and there are
she's been difficult, right?
No,
she doesn't like gangrels. I heard that she doesn't like gangrels. She doesn't
like gangrels?
No, apparently she had a gangrel lover that kind of broke her heart or whatever.
Did she? Interesting. Yes, I heard that. An enormous beast he was. Huge.
Oh, so it's true. Oh my God, I knew it. She's so debased. And then, they move on with their rumors somewhere else.
Yeah. I'll stoke him a bit and let him go.
Yeah. The worst thing is that you are now one of the most highly credible sources of information for the past of Matilda Wells. And you're just taking the piss. And
I am. And I'll
fanning the flames of falsehood, fake news before it was cool.
Yeah, we'll brainstorm a couple of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, what I wanted to get to is that a week or so after, now that the refugees are feeling a little bit more at ease, they have fallen really well into your routine. They stay most of the time indoors. They have gotten out once or twice, probably under the escort of Nan Giselle directly, but it could have been anyone from the coterie, just to, to seek a little bit of peace of mind. And now that we are all in lockdown, we know and understand that sometimes you just need to, even if it's walk around the block, just go around the block 3 times and then let me go back indoors. So
I'll probably take Clarence to the pub one night.
Yeah.
Where everybody goes that was in the play, because they all know me and think I'm great. So
gotcha.
I can take him there.
Keeping your ties with the community, your lien, your domain. That is important. That is very good.
Buy them a few drinks.
Yeah.
Reminisce about how marvelous they all were, and I know no one noticed you as the third spear carrier from the left, but personally, you made the whole play for me, darling.
Clarence actually is the perfect picture of the light. He talks to them, and he sounds really interested about this play that happened, almost 2 or 3 weeks ago, and everybody's super chuffed and super excited. He actually mentions that maybe you can brainstorm some ideas with him for another play in the future. He would be very interested in funding or aiding in some way.
Well, in that case, once he's said that sort of thing, as he moves on to another group of people, I'll say he's very important. He could be one of our angels.
Oh, Nan Giselle, anything you would like to do during this period?
If whatever periods of time that I'm the one that's hanging out at the HQ, because I presume we're various of us there, then I'll just practice my guitar. Otherwise, I'm gonna contemplate my religion and
Nice.
do all of the studying that I should do. But yes. Oh, also, I kind of I Bex can't remember. Did Matilda tell all of us about Gareth? Do we all know about him?
told Carl first, but I would have told you, like,
Yeah.
the other two.
Everybody's
so
aware.
basically, I wanted to put out some investigation, do a bit of investigation into what rumors I can hear on the street about what happened there.
Okay, can you roll
What?
resolve?
Sorry.
Yes, I mean, you want it. You roll resolve plus investigation,
Okay, hang on. Resolve plus investigation.
and
Let's
you
see.
add 2 dice for your contacts in the docks.
Oh, lovely.
Your
Okay.
your influence with the dock workers. So add a 2 die modifier.
Thank you. Huzzah! 3.
That is a very good 3 successes. So, on the mortal side of things, nothing has, you have heard nothing.
Okay. Yep.
But from the kindred side of things, because you have influence with the workers,
Yep.
but you have heard that, like, some of them have mentioned weird activity, rumors and stuff, things that you as kindred flag as, oh, there has been kindred activity. Like, for example, oh no, what are you talking about? What happened where? Nothing happened. I was there working 3 nights ago, and I think I got, like, drunk with my missus, and you were like, you're not even married. This guy has his mind manipulated or whatever, or something like that. Like, it's not so blatant, but for you, the people that you're talking to, and that there has been some investigation around it.
Okay.
Now, it is important that someone mentions this girl that has been near the place every night. It's very creepy. She's been there.
She's been somewhere around the dock specifically.
Oh, somewhere around, or close to the area where Gareth used
where
to
this
live.
happened. Okay. Yes.
Which is in Spike Island, so it's like near docks.
Yeah.
But still residential.
So can I get a description of this girl with part of my success?
Yes. They tell you that is a young girl, pretty good looking thing. She must be, I don't know, 20 something. She has this sort of like strawberry blondish hair and blue eyes. Petite frame, and she's just there sometimes with a coat because it's getting cold and stuff, just standing there.
Okay, so I will make a plan to go and seek her out. I will tell the coterie that I find this information, but I will make a plan, or I'll tell them that I'm making a plan to go and find this person, or go and seek her out. Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna come back to Nan Giselle seeking this person out. Janice having a conversation with Annie. Carl will be having a conversation with Teach. He will call you to sort out the final details and things that he has heard, for things from your sister.
Mm-hmm.
And for Matilda, she gets... Yes, sorry?
Sorry, you go. No, you go.
She gets a text saying, "Hi, this is Christine. I would like to talk to you, but please don't let Carl know." And with that, we're going to go to a break. First of all, thank you again to everybody who's been following us and supporting us week in and week out, and for also putting up with my shenanigans as a tech ghoul. I tend to mess things up. There are important announcements to be made. But the first thing I want to do is show you the relationship map. Now, if this is set up properly, I can both show it to you guys that are watching, and also allow you people who are listening to listen to my voice. So I'm gonna give it a try, and if you hear like 5 seconds of silence and then me talking, it's because it didn't work. So if all fails, it was all Mitch's fault, or sorry, Dylan's fault, or never my fault. Okay, so let's see relationship map. So I hope you liked how it looked. I need to know how to make it jump on screen as I talk about it. But as you can see, it's still in StrikeNet files. It has this lovely sort of like Triforce edgy thing. We're gonna make it better for next week's segment. So the relationship map is there, and the relationship map is looking amazing, and it's having everybody in it. But it is the technical difficulties of Tech Ghoul Carlos, who is not a good Tech Ghoul, and making it work that are keeping us down. But exciting news for next week. Peter, take it.
So next week is going to be the mid-season break. Because although this is episode 4, effectively episode 1 was the Embraces episode. So we've had 5 weeks of 7. So we're now going to have a mid-season break week. And this is we're going to take a little holiday from the world of darkness, and we're going to go to have a sort of a somewhat light-hearted, family-friendly, somewhat silly D&D-esque, but not D&D fantasy one-shot.
Medieval fantasy.
Which is going to be called We Need to Talk About Thello. And it essentially it's going to be a little bit interactive. So if you're able to join us live next week, you will be able to participate to some measure and influence things that happen to the players as they are going through their shenanigans. We have the players set up, and we have a brand new player who's never be their very first stream, which is very exciting. We also have another player who has been part of the stream for a long time, but it's going to be his first time on the other side of the camera, so that's rather exciting too. And I also have a slot available still if someone wants to make a guest appearance. If you're free next week and you're one of our supporters and you like to watch along and you would like to kind of come and join the fun, then if you can get in touch with me, you can either find me on Twitter, or you can, if you know my Discord, you can Discord me. And if not, and you're on the Ghoul Discord, just harass Mitch, because Mitch loves it when people harass him to find me.
Mitch's job, right?
It makes his day. So if you could to do that, let me know, and I will tell you a bit more about what that involves. But yes, we're going to have a sort of fantasy-esque, panto, ridiculous, interactive fantasy one-shot next week. Do join us. It should be silly and fun.
Okay, so right now is 35 past 8. We're going to have a 15-minute break for those of you who wish to get a cup of tea or finish your dinner. I'm looking at you, Bex. So we will be back at 10 to 9. So see you in 15 minutes. Bye.
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 Hello and welcome back for part 2 of episode 4 of Blood on the Severn. And we left it with our coterie having various plans for about a week and a half after the arrival of the refugees from London. Let's start with Matilda. So you are in your house. You receive this message from Christine. What do you reply?
Oh, I'll look at it. Unsure how she got my number, and then move past that and reply. Okay. Tonight? Question mark.
Yes, please.
I'll give her the address of somewhere in BS9, like a pub or something. Somewhere that I know. Yeah. I don't really want to bring her to the domain.
She says, meet you there in an hour?
Yeah, I'll say yes.
Excellent. You go there and you see her. You have seen her once when you went to Ashton Court.
Yeah.
You were not formally introduced, but you did see Carl taking care of her, and you know, making sure that she had everything she needed. She sees you. She approaches the table you are on.
Okay. I'll gesture first, take a seat, and I'll ask if do you want a drink?
Yes, please. Perhaps some wine?
All right. Red, white.
Red, please.
Okay. I'll go up to the bar and get like a house red. Does she look kind of upset?
She looks nervous. She does look nervous.
I'll get her a bottle.
Excellent.
Yeah, sure. I'll go back to the table. What can I do for you, Christine?
Does Carl know you're here?
No.
Okay. I was not sure if I didn't know if I should have contacted you, but
Yeah, I don't know how you did contact me. I didn't give you my number.
well, I've been a ghoul of the Toreador for over a decade now. Far longer than that. And I have my means. Other
We
people,
checked.
other people in the Camarilla that might have your number or easily dissuade. I'm sorry. I should have.
Sorry? Did you exchange a minor boon to get my number?
No, actually, I didn't. It was far simpler than that. I'm lucky that the Primogen of the Toreador extended the hospitality of the clan towards me, which is an unusual thing to have for a ghoul. Carly mentioned that I am a ghoul.
Spoken briefly about your situation and the family history you have.
Yeah, but probably you only have heard his side.
Do go on. I'd like to hear yours.
Well, in our family, every few generations, someone is chosen. Well, for what we didn't know, but I've been taking care of the business, really good care of the business for quite a while. And all of my life, I have dedicated it to our family and our standing and our resources. And I became a very good financier, and I made my way as a businesswoman and make sure that Carl had everything he needed, as well as other members of my family.
Is that right?
Don't get me wrong, he's a good brother, but the night the decision was made of who would receive the gift, and as you can understand, the gift here is to be embraced. Carl got it. And our relationship...
Why do you think that is?
I think about it every evening. And I want to believe he didn't do it on purpose, but he cannot help himself. I know him. By being himself, he just snatched the prize away from me.
He's a very charming man, that's right.
It is not fair, because now I am a slave.
Is that the option you got? So one of you gets embraced. Is it? And then the other one becomes a ghoul. Is that always? Or was there another choice you could have made? Could you have left?
No one asked me for my opinion.
All right. Okay. And your Domitor, you don't know where he is still.
He died.
He died.
I've been investigating and looking for information, and I contacted someone from London, someone from his coterie, who told me that he see him burn. And as she says that, you see her upset and also kind of angry at the fact that she's upset. And she rubs a tear that is welling up her eyes. It's like, and I shouldn't be crying for that bastard.
No, you shouldn't. But I don't blame you if you're with captors for long enough, or sometimes you can't help it. Have feelings for them, or have some kind of compassion, even if you hate yourself for it.
It's not compassion. It's the curse of the blood bond. Now that he's dead, I feel lost, but also free for the first time in many years.
Good.
And I don't want to die. I don't want to age and die like this.
So what are your options?
Well, I must drink the blood of Kindred to maintain my state. And I do not want to drink Carl's blood. We have a very difficult relationship, and I cannot say I hate them, but the love I've always had for him is not as strong as it used to be.
So you don't trust Carl if you were to drink his blood. You don't want that. You don't want that bond, even though he's family.
I don't want it to be an artificial bond. What I feel for my brother, I want it to be pure. If there is one thing I have in common with the rest of my bloodline, is that I do take my emotions seriously. I might sometimes shut myself to them because it's needed for business. But the very complicated feelings I have for my brother will only get worse if I...
Matilda's gonna lean sort of over the table and just look at her really hard and be like, Christine, what are you asking me? What do you want?
Well, I've heard a lot about you. Some outlandish things, but also some that seem to be true. That you were Camarilla. And that you escaped their yoke.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Could you please be the one that provides me with blood, if need be? I've heard from a lot of your detractors that you are someone who is atypical for the Ventru. You stand up for the rights of those you do not even know.
All right, Matilda will just lean back and sort of not say anything for a little while, and then say, I suppose I'm honoured that you'd ask me and that you'd trust me after not knowing me at all, apart from hearsay.
Well, this is a difficult thing for me to ask as well.
I understand.
I tend to take calculated risks, but I don't want the blood of any Camarilla, because they will force me to have Toreador blood. They will force me to have Carl's blood. I don't want to go back to my family with my mind a slave of their whims. I might have the financial means to get by, but I'm a ghoul in the world of the Kindred. I am as low as it gets on the food chain. have been fed from, have been controlled and dominated, have been used and abused. I want to be in control of my life again. I don't want to be asking for this. And to be honest, you are a gamble. But I can make a deal out of it. I hold a boon from a Kindred of London. They're here. I help them into reaching the city, guarding their bodies during their day sleep. It is very, very unusual for a ghoul to hold a boon. Kindred strike deals amongst their own kind. But I can offer that. Well,
Can you tell me who it is?
Not yet. I would need to know if you're agreeable to proceed. I find it.
I understand. How long? You said you have financial means to help you out, well, to keep you sustained for a while. How long do you think that is?
Oh, indefinitely. That's not a problem. Carl's assets are safe and secure. I've made sure that he's well provided for, as well as the funds of my family. But I have been keeping funds of my own, my personal funds. The fruit of my hard work. I will not be stealing from my family to do any of these. They are still my family. But if you need aid in anything, from a mortal point of view or financially, I can do that as payment. And if not, we can talk about.
It's okay. This is a very big thing you're asking me to do, considering that I'm in a coterie with your brother. This puts me in a position that, if he were to find out, would not be good at all. So I hope that you can respect the fact that I need to think about it.
Yes.
I will think about it. I'm not saying no, but I cannot say yes tonight. But
I understand that. I do not need to drink blood for another week or so. Although I do crave it. And I hate myself for it. I will keep this in the utmost secrecy, and I can make arrangements so Carl doesn't know where the blood is coming from. I will potentially leave shortly after, so as to avoid any confrontation. I don't want to cause you.
Matilda will put a hand on Christine's hand to just kind of settle her down and just say, "It's fine. I'm glad that you've contacted me and you've asked me. I will. Well, I have your number now, so I'll send you a text and we can arrange something at some point. I'll give you an answer, but
thank you.
Don't worry. Just
thank you.
It's fine.
Across the city, Nan Giselle is walking around the waterfront.
On one side.
On the right side, on the appropriate side that doesn't involve you crossing over. And you're doing your sort of like a round.
Yeah.
Sure enough, at around 10 or 11, you see the girl that fits the description you were given.
This girl is a vampire or a mortal?
You can really easily tell with the October cold that she is not breathing out little
Okay.
puffs of steam.
Okay, so I would like to secret myself away somewhere where she can't see me and I can observe what she does. So my intention is that if she moves, I'll follow her. But if she's waiting to meet somebody, I want to see who she meets. I would like to be near enough to try and hear their conversation.
She stays there for a while, staring at the water. Just staring.
At the water?
Yeah.
Okay, in which case, if she's staring at the water, I'll leave wherever I'm hidden away, and I'll make a show of walking along the side of the water till I get to her. As if I'm going for an evening stroll.
Mm-hmm.
But when I reach her, whenever I sort of come close to her, I'll say, it's a nice way to spend the night, isn't it?
Oh. She looks at you, and for a second, she, rubs her hands, and you can see some steam coming up, and you can see the color come back to her face. I'm sorry, yes, apologies, yes.
No need to worry. I was just walking along here myself, as I do sometimes, and I noticed you were stopped, looking out at the water. It's been a long time since I saw someone take the trouble to do that.
I like the
Before I
water.
say hello.
It brings me joy and peace.
Does that me too? I ain't found too many people around here who thinks the same way as I do. Why is it that way for you?
Sorry, have we met?
No, we ain't met. I just, something about you struck me. Let's just say...
I'm sorry, I have a boyfriend.
What? Not like that.
I'm sorry.
Apologies
if I misunderstood. I mean, that kind of happens to me a lot. And now that you're close, you go like, yeah, I can believe that happens a lot. She being hit on by girls and boys.
I'll say,
she apologizes.
It's all right. It's like I said, it's been a long time since I've met someone who's had. Well, it seemed just as you caught my eye as I was walking along. It seemed like you might have had the same sort of, I don't know, feeling or experience with this sort of thing as me. I've always found it's a place you can come to relax. It's a place where you can get quiet, be yourself.
Well, yeah, it's similar for me. It's
where you get away from people hitting on you, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely, yes. Sorry about that again. I mean, I like being around the water. It's where I feel myself the most.
I know what you mean.
And I've been needing that recently. A friend of mine passed recently, and he lived around here. We used to meet sometimes here to paint.
You think he's still hanging around here?
No, I mentioned he passed. I mean,
That don't mean he's not here, does it? I mean, that's the thing about water. It's a bridge. You can use it to do all sorts of things, including speak to people who might not be physically here anymore.
Yes, I now understand. Yes, I've not been talking to the water, but yes, I've been reminiscing and using this as a bridge, as a connection to my memories of past times with him. He also was a teacher of sorts. He was teaching me painting and some skills.
I'm sorry to hear your news. It's never good when that happens. Was it expected?
No, it was.
I know what that's like. My old daddy passed away, sudden accident. down on the dock, so it goes.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's a long time ago now, but
Quick
why
question:
come?
Are
Yep.
you using Blush of Health?
Yes, imagine so. If I'm out and about walking.
Okay, cool.
Yep. I don't think my religious teacher would like it if I wasn't. I'll say he's we're shocked, and I always found that he and I connected through the war. It's where we spend a lot of our time. So sometimes I come here to remember him. That's why I suppose that's why you stuck out to me. You lost someone all of a sudden, like.
Yeah. Well,
Do you live around here?
no, not at all. I live in BS3 area.
Oh right, down Bedminster.
Yeah. But he did. He lived nearby.
What was his name?
Gareth.
Gareth. Welsh?
Yes. Gareth Davis. I'm sorry. I'm Ruby. Please to meet you.
Ruby. I'm Nanj. I'll shake her hand. I'll say, you know what, Ruby, I spent a long time after my dad died looking for some way to connect back to him, some way to get that feeling back, right? That place of understanding. I know you know what I mean.
Yes, that connection.
Well, as it happens, I found it recently, and I didn't expect that it was going to be that way. But you got to take whatever time you got to take to come to terms with this.
So you're saying
But
you
if
found closure after all these years?
I found a way to know, to understand that connection that I always felt with the war, and through that to understand him.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, if you find yourself in that place and you want to understand, you want to know, it might be as I can help you. There's a group of people like us in Bristol, as it is. You wouldn't even have to travel too far, but it would be well, for my money, from what you've told me, it'd be worth the effort. So give you my number and you can give me a shout.
Is this like a support group?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, Mitchell, my boyfriend, has been saying that I need to get these things out of my chest, but it's been difficult to burden him further. I don't know. Talking to strangers suddenly feels
It's easy, isn't it?
better. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I don't know this Mitchell, and I didn't know this Gareth.
Oh, well,
so
Mitchell is lovely. I mean, he has a
I got
temper,
no-
but he's amazing.
Well, if he's not the one for you to talk to about this, then yeah, me or these people and anyone of this group, they all got the same kind of perspective about this. So I reckon you could find someone who would help you out.
Oh, yeah, yes. And she produces a small pad, and you can see like she's flipping pages, and she has some sketches there, and she gives you a blank page and a pencil for you to write down.
All right then. My number.
Yeah.
I'll say to her. I'll ask if I can take her number.
Yes, she writes her number. And
I'll
then
take her number. Sorry, go on.
she gives you. She sees one of the pages, and she takes it out of the book and gives it to you, and writes her number on the back of it. And it's a nice painting of the coast. And you have been there. It's probably Avonmouth. It's like It's quite good for it being like a pencil sketch. You go like, hey, this is Avonmouth.
Oh, yeah. I'll say
She's good.
this is Avonmouth.
Yes.
It's good. It's good.
Thank you.
I spend a lot of time down there.
Yeah, I thought you should keep it. I mean, just to remember.
That's really kind of you. So if you find you want to talk about Gareth or what happened, you got my number. Can meet you anytime.
Thank you, Nanch.
No sweat.
Then she grabs your arm and she squeezes and says, "It really means the world to me. Thank you very much." And now you look at her. Now that you see her, you see her being like her spirits have been a little bit lifted. You know, you just help support her for a little bit.
Okay.
And then she just walks back.
I'll wish her good night.
Yeah, and she crosses the bridge, which for you now it seems that
yeah.
she
I'll be glad we didn't get that far.
Yeah, she's like, oh my god, she went to a foreign country. She might as well. You know?
I'll make a note to go back and tell my cult leader what I've done.
On your way back, so you hear someone approaching you. This is
okay. Turn around.
What are you doing in our turf? And you turn around and you recognize Warren, one of the thin bloods in the area that's trying to, well, according to you, encroach in your territory. According to them, push you out of their territory.
I'll say to him, leave off, Warren. Ain't like you got a turf, is it? I mean, what you say you think you've got isn't the same as what you've actually got. Who says I can't walk around there? Who's going to stop me?
No, but you're harassing people from my sect. What's up with that?
Harassing people from your sect? What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. That Anna girl that was right there.
I wasn't harassing her, was I?
Well,
how'd you know? Did you talk to her? Just making shit up, Warren. That's your problem.
Is she your friend? Do you know her?
Yeah, she's my friend. I got her number and everything. Sorry.
Yes, not Giselle, please do a manipulation plus subterfuge roll to keep a straight face. Sorry. Yeah, it would be...
manipulation and subterfuge. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I would ask for composure, but...
that's a waste of time.
Yes.
Is it two?
Two successes, yeah. He looks at you, it's like, oh, really now? Do you?
I'll say, yeah, I ain't giving it to you, am I? How do I know? She might think you're as much of a tosser as I do.
And the guy goes like, you know, you hear him, like, sort of like he pumps up a little bit, and a female voice.
I'll go, oh, really? Is it going to be like that, is it, Warren? Come on, then.
You recognize the voice of Maeve. Maeve is his sire, apparently. But she's also a thin blood. She's like...
Whatever. Okay. I'll go...
Back off, Warren. It's okay.
Oh, I've got your mum to come and help you, have you?
Maeve says, you're not making it easier, Nange.
I know. Well, you know what? You need to pull your boy into line, don't you?
Well, I don't see you standing...
Coming up here.
I didn't see you standing on the water. You're outside of the waterway. This is not Autarkias. This is my turf, and you know it. And technically, from where she's speaking, it's her territory because she's on the other side of the sidewalk. So she can say all that bullshit. And it's that... You're having that dispute again. She's like, well, he's just protecting his interest, my interest, and the interests of the Anarchs. We do have a business to run, and you are not good to have around for business. So either jump in the water or get the hell out of my territory.
You're so fucking kind, aren't you? All right, I'm going. Don't harass my mates, though, or I'll come around here and show you what for, Warren.
Warren's like, you are the one harassing her. And, of course, Maeve stops him, and you have that kind of...
I'll go. See you later, mate. Don't try too hard, and then I'll just wander off back to wherever I'm going.
Sometimes I think it's a blessing that some thin bloods don't have like a beast that throws them into frenzy.
Exactly. Exactly. If this was a real vampire, I wouldn't be doing this.
Exactly. And that is Lange's opinion.
Yep.
So it is a conversation that Janice is going to have with Annie. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Annie is in the headquarters.
Cool.
Together with everybody else.
So I will go over to Annie. And I will say...
Hi, Janice.
Hello, Annie. I was thinking about going for a walk.
Oh, I like walking.
Do you like dogs, Annie?
Oh, I love dogs.
Well, would you like to meet my dog?
You have a dog?
I have many, many dogs.
Oh, yeah. You sure
But
tell.
this one is my favorite.
And she has this wide-eyed expression. It's like, oh, let's meet your dog. Where's your dog?
She's just outside.
Okay. She gets ready,
I'll-
pulls a jumper.
Does she have anything with like a hood or something where she can...
Yes, she has a jumper with a hoodie.
Perfect.
A jumper with a hood.
He will say,
people call
would you mind wearing your hood whilst we walk?
Yes, okay. And
It is just that we still do not understand what happened in London. And it may be your face is known.
Oh, yes, you're right. Well, I doubt my face is known. I was kept... But I will do it.
I'll say between us, I doubt it too. And then when we've gone like further outside, I will say, but I want to be able to tell the others the same thing. I don't want them to have any excuses.
So she puts her hair, she ties her hair, puts on a baseball cap, and then puts the hood up.
Cool. So I'll take her outside and I will say, Annie, this is the Duchess.
That's a horse. Oh my God. As she looks at the beast that is the Duchess, a beautiful white Kulaks that is taller than Janice if she were to stand on her hind legs. She's like really hesitant, but the Duchess approaches her very gently, wagging her tail, smelling her. She lets herself be pet. And she says, do you have more dogs like this one?
A few, yes. But most are smaller. Would you like to meet them?
Yes. Let's meet them.
Well, perhaps if we get time, we'll do that. But for now, let us walk together.
Yes.
So I'll take her for a kind of an ambling walk within the domain, but kind of around probably some of the riversides and his regular kind of walking areas. And as they're going, he will say, would you mind if I asked you a question, Annie?
No, not at all.
Do you know what you're going to do when this situation ends?
I'm making arrangements to go to Edinburgh.
Ah. Do you have friends there or family?
No. I have one person from London that said that some of the people from London had gone to Edinburgh, especially a couple of Malkavians. So I was hoping to see if I met with people from my clan.
Yes, I can understand the need to go to your clan, of course.
But if I don't find anyone I know, I don't know if I... The problem is that they are saying that we cannot stay.
Ah.
We're too many.
Yes. Well, I know what it's like, Annie, when you find yourself alone. When I was a boy, which, trust me, was a long, long time ago, there came a time in my life, early in my life, where I found myself without parents or siblings. And for a time I was lost. And then a family found me. And so they took me in and helped me settle and find friends and find work. Indeed, that is how I came to all of these dogs. I used to look after dogs for them. My point is, Annie, that I know what it is like to be alone, and so I have a certain amount of sympathy for your situation. Now, I am not of your clan, but it might be that there is some way that we could find you a home here, at least for a time.
Okay. Well, I was making arrangements to leave. I don't know, in about a week or two's time, after our time as guest was done. But it's nice to know that if things don't work out in Edinburgh, maybe I could ask to come and visit you and see.
Yes, you could do that. You've been told that you cannot stay. But probably what you have not been told is there are many people who are trying to stay. It is a matter of boons and discussions. If the right people can be persuaded that you should stay, then you will be allowed to stay. I understand some of the others that came with you have been making arrangements. I assume they have not been told there is no room.
Well, apparently Clarence has been told there is no room, but then he said that he would make room for himself. And he's been talking to people, but I don't. He's good with words. I don't. Also, he's older and he had some bones and things. He said that most of them are kind of useless, but the few that are useful, he's using them. I'm sorry, that's a lot of uses in one sentence, but you understand why I used it.
What if I was to tell you that if it was your desire to stay here in Bristol, that I would do whatever I could to allow it to happen?
That would be lovely. Thank you. Do I need to owe you a boon for that?
That is a very astute question. Perhaps we shall see what it takes to keep you here first.
Well, how about I go to Edinburgh and try to find my clansmates? And to be honest, I wanted to go through Liverpool and that area. I want to see if I can see my family, even if it's from afar. Of course, I will not let them see me or know that I'm there. I just want to make sure that they are okay.
I can understand that. Family are important, after all.
But
we could perhaps help you to see your family if it was discreet.
Yes, I would very much like that, yes.
Can I be frank with you, Annie?
Yes, please.
I understand that you had a very difficult experience when you first arrived here.
Yes. Did Carl tell you?
Carl is a good friend of mine. We arrived in Bristol together. And he is very concerned for people's well-being, especially people like yourself.
I see. I'm sorry, I told Carl I sometimes have those visions. Ones that in which I get hurt.
Yes, That must be very frightening.
Yes, it is. But they never happen quite as I see them, but they always have an element of truth in them, and sometimes I don't get hurt physically, but I still get hurt.
I understand. There are many ways one can be hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It is my belief that such visions are messages, communications, and that perhaps there is a way for you to understand them better, such that they might not cause you pain anymore.
I would like to try it to see if I can. Yes. Because I was told by my sire that the visions will never stop. They are both a blessing and a curse. But
It is.
I don't know how to turn them into a blessing. So if I cannot make them stop, I have to learn to live with them and understand them.
Yes, that is exactly what you must do. You must.
But no one knows how. Even Carl says that he usually gets them without prompting. He mentioned that sometimes he gets them, but this was the first time we both got it. He had his vision through me. He saw my vision. I don't know why.
Carl is very blessed indeed. He receives word from Perun himself. He is a gifted oracle.
From
Carl
whom?
will tell you differently, of course. Carl has his own beliefs about how this is. But I tell you this, Carl's visions, such as they are, have steered us true. And he is marked for great things.
Oh.
It seems to me no coincidence that you have shared a vision with him. Perhaps you too are marked for great things.
I'm not sure about that, but you're too kind, Janice. Thank you.
Believe me, Annie, I am not being kind. I am being truthful. I understand that you have seen a vision which relates to your own end.
Yes. Yes, it does.
And I understand that may cause a great deal of fear in you.
Well, the thing is, Matilda was in that vision.
Yes.
And I know I shouldn't, but I've been trying to avoid her, because I figured if we're not together, then the vision will not come to pass for a while. If I can push it back as far away into the future as I can, then I will do so. That is another of the reasons I want to go to Edinburgh.
Do you think by running from this vision, you will escape it?
I don't know. I guess. I don't know.
Really?
I don't know how they work.
If the gods have seen fit to give you a vision, you'll be wise to heed it and prepare yourself for it.
I didn't know you were so religious.
I am.
I don't see this as a gift from the gods or any god. I just see this as just as our ability not to age, or the fact that the sun burns us. This is my new reality.
Yes. Of course. And I will not try and force you to believe what I believe. But I will tell you this. Perhaps, just as when you became this way, your death was transformative rather than the ending.
Oh.
Perhaps this vision of your death could also be transformative.
Okay.
There are ways to stop oneself being hurt by the fire.
How?
That is not something I will simply tell you. If it is something you desire, you will have to seek it out.
You know how to do this?
Yes.
Okay. I will try. I will come back. I will seek my clansmate, see if there is the person I am seeking there to help me understand my visions, and then I will come back.
You should do whatever you feel is right, Annie. But I doubt your clansmate will be able to teach you anything of this nature, and
but they can.
Time is not on your side.
They can teach
me. You know this.
They can teach me why I hear their voices in my head calling me.
Well, you go where you must. But the fire is coming, Annie. It's coming. And either you will be ready for it, or you will not. You know where to find me, if you change your mind.
And with a somber look, she stares at the floor until such a time, like very, very, like the weight of those words weighing heavily upon her shoulders, until a bunch of lovely Pomeranians jump in her face and start licking her, and she plays with the shepherds and the dogs.
We're awful people. Just putting it out there.
Just this is not for the faint of heart. Let's go to Carl. Carl is called by Teach to have a conversation about.
Yeah, before that, yes? Carl's been deeply affected by this vision that he shared with Annie and can't shake it off. And the glibness of the coterie to just go, well, we can sacrifice this young girl and that's fine, we don't need to worry about it, is preying on his mind. And so he feels he takes refuge in art, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And he writes a sonnet.
Okay.
That goes like this. The symmetry of coteries is strange, alike and not. The interlopers seem, as automatic battle lines arrange, then bloods call blood, and enmities do teem. She takes my hand and pulls me to her doom, as fire does burn and she cannot be saved. I powerless am, as flames do there consume her unlife, but the fire cannot be braved. Matilda, though she lives through this ordeal, and as I free myself from this fell sight, I reach now for the girl, before her kneel, and watch as she now weeps here for her plight. My coterie, my faction, which is right? For one of them must die one of these nights.
Do you share this beautiful sonnet with anyone?
Apart from the last two lines.
Okay.
I share it with Annie.
Okay. Excellent. You leave it for her, and she reads it, and she sort of giggles and says, "Well, I'm thank you."
It is something of how I work through things. It is my process, because I think of my clan and my need to create. But it is not for your consolation. It is for my truth. But if it should help you in any way, then it is yours as well. But now I must see about another matter.
I work slightly differently when I try to seek solace from my thoughts. I just put on headphones and put music. This one song, it's the same song, and it just gets my mind into, well, quiets it. And that's when I have the clearest of thoughts. And once...
And which song is this?
Oh, it's classical music.
Oh.
It's Brahms Violin Concerto. First movement.
Very beautiful. Very beautiful.
Also, it's very long. It's 25 minutes long, the first movement alone. So it's like a good meditation. I once had a vision listening to it, and it was so clear. And in this vision, I did not get hurt, and it happened almost exactly like it. That was nice. I lost my headphones, but I'm getting new ones. So,
I have a pair. I have a pair that you can have.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. I've made like I'm getting things. My well, I like to think of them as my coterie. I've never had a coterie, but Clarence said that we should stick together like a coterie.
Yes, he is wise.
Yeah, Oscar and Laura don't agree, so it's a coterie of just the two of us. But
it's a start.
Yeah, yes.
Perhaps once you have your headphones, we could share them and listen to Brahms' Violin Concerto together.
Yes.
And perhaps if any visions do come, they will be peaceful.
Oh, I would love that. I would love that, definitely. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And now I must go and see Teach, the head of Autarchus.
Why do they call him Teach? Is he a teacher? A professor in Bristol?
I thought maybe because he was Blackbeard, at Teach.
Don't be silly.
But apparently not. Too much to hope for, I suppose, to have a great pirate with us. But no, he teaches people, I think. It is that mundane.
Okay. Well,
yes.
He's also a Autarchus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Nangisel, I figured out it's a bitch. It's a bitch in Cornwall or something. Sorry,
it is.
That was
I
Carlos.
bitch in Cornwall? No, a beach in Cornwall.
I must say, and I apologize for breaking the scene, but this is Carlos, sleep deprived, trying to say beach and not bitch.
It's quite.
So it's not that Nangisel's a bitch.
I was a little taken aback.
But Nangisel,
you're calling my coterie mate a bitch now?
No, I'm
Annie,
sorry.
Just because
I'm sorry.
we've talked about
Well,
Brahms.
she's got the right of it.
Yeah, I mean,
well, yeah, she has.
It's not that I'm lying, but it would have been impolite. Yeah. But I mean, my brother had a baby last week, and we have been slightly sleep deprived because, well, he likes to.
You can use those excuses. That's fine.
So sorry about that. But yes, she says like, well, if Nangisel is a beach in Cornwall, I think it is, and then she mentioned that like her friend, the one that came driving the other day, she calls him Lug, and now the leader, the master of trade, they call him Teach.
Yes.
Like none of the Autarchis use their real names, do they?
They don't like to, no.
No. So yeah, it might be mundane, but I mean, it's a good nickname.
Yes, it is. It's very good.
Okay. Well, I won't keep you, but thank you.
Teach and beach. You're right. Anyway, yes. I'll go and see him.
When you go and see Teach, he is small warehouse near the docks. He has been spending a lot more time in the city center or around the city center instead of where he usually is in Avonmouth. Right there at the head. How do you call it? At the mouth of the Severn on the Avon River, where the river gets to the Severn story. That area. That's where he spends it, with the big ports. But now he's spending a lot of time here because all the business is happening here with the Boons.
Mm-hmm.
Carl, glad you can make it.
Thank you.
Well, I hope you can. Well, your sister.
Yes, I hope you've organised everything well.
She has
I've
not
kept
given
in
us any
touch with
trouble.
her a little. I've spoken to her every week, but
Yeah, she has not given us any trouble at all.
good.
I'm kind of glad I gave you a discount, because had I charged you the full price, I would have felt like I was robbing you. It has been really simple. She has had calls during the day, and the odd mariner patrolling the area during the evening. She has been provided secure connections to everything. I just moved a little bit of my influence with the library, so one of the Nosferatus helped her with her setup remotely. And I wanted to show you this. And he just puts on the table a little envelope that looks from a travel agency.
Right.
And once you open it, inside there is a passport, a French passport.
Perfect.
You open it, Monique, whatever, it's her name, it's her face. It looks to be new, with a whole new biometric stuff that is being used for EU citizens.
Perfect. Thank you, Teach. This is excellent work.
Yes, it is excellent work. It includes French driver's license.
Useful.
The contact details of the agency for her trip. For the travel agency for her trip. So basically, within these dates, any of the flights that she can take. Birth certificate. It's been aged. Even it's like if she wanted if she wanted a mask.
Excellent.
If she were Kindred and wanted a mask, this is it. And a debit card. No money in it. She better put her own.
She has plenty. She has way more than I do, let's face it. She keeps me on pauper's wages. Such is my plight.
Well, at least she gets something from that deal.
Yes, she does. She does. Well, I suppose I better go and give these to her. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You go and look for Christine. You text her. She says that she is in the hotel, and that she can meet you in the lobby or in the little bar.
Let's go. I'll go and meet her in the lobby.
Hello, Carl. Would you like some
Dear
wine?
sister. No, not for me, thanks. I just had a drink.
Understood. Anything I can help you with?
Speaking of which, are you feeling thirsty at all yourself? It's been a long time since you arrived here.
I know, but I'm fine. If I live within the next couple of weeks, I will be more than fine.
Yes. Well, as you know, our cousin is in New York, so there is always dear Angelique.
Well, if I get a new nationality,
I shall produce the passport and debit card ticket, blah blah blah, and I shall say, tell her about the debit card needing more money and all that.
She looks at it, and for a moment, her stern face breaks, and she smiles and says, "Thank you, Carl.
You're very welcome. It's what you need." And
is this good enough to trump U.S. security, or should I just head over to Paris and?
Well, it's up to you. I mean, we do have holdings in Paris. You would, unless it went the way of London, you would be safe there. But if you wish to go to New York, then our family is there too. So you have either one. I don't want to instruct you as to where you should go.
I will talk to them. But if these are good, then Thank you. I will
Teach
make
was
arrangements.
convinced that this would get you through modern customs and equipment.
Oh, that's
so
great.
on.
Then I'll just have to do the ESTA for the United States, and I think I will be good. Good.
Yes.
This is actually great news. Are
Well.
you in danger, Carl?
We're all in danger after what happened in London.
Okay. Well, I think it's good that you have a bodyguard. And she throws a slight glance towards the door. And you look, and there is someone that, as you're turning your head to look, they're turning away and walking.
Okay. I'll say that is not my bodyguard to Christine, and I will just.
You see her fiddling in her pocket, and then she keeps her hand in her pocket for a moment, and like nothing, like less than half a minute later, you see a man with a ponytail and a very sleazy look walk in. You've seen this man. He's a mariner, a minister by the name of Reuben. Hello? Any problem, love? He was followed by someone.
I was.
Then let's make sure you're both safe. Teach will not like it if you're not safe.
Well, we don't want to make Teach unhappy, do we?
No, we don't. And he offers that slimy, hand with a wink and everything. Not a proper wink, it's just a half there, amicable. But I want to screw you over. Look.
I shall shake it like he is a French duke.
Excellent.
Thank you.
He offers his arm to Christine, who politely declines and walks straight to the elevator. And you are escorted by a mariner back to your domain, which is a good thing. Nanjacel,
Aye.
you have a beep from one of your phones, and after
will
fiddling in
Yes.
in your pockets to figure out which one, it says, you read the text, and you first you don't recognize the number.
Okay.
Second, it says, I cannot believe these kids and their pranks. You open it up. Oh, it's the neighborhood watch surveillance.
Oh.
I was picking up Simon. He was around Purdown again with his friends drinking, and someone left a real looking how do you call it? Like a really lifelike looking skeleton near the barracks.
I take off for the barracks whilst sending a message to all of these people to tell them that this has happened.
Okay, so Nanjacel sends a text message saying that one of the people in the neighborhood watch had seen, it's close to Halloween, coincidentally, a week before Halloween, a very realistic looking sort of skeleton near the Purdown barracks.
My text will say, wherever I am, I'll say I'm on my way there now, but this is where I'm coming from, because I'm hoping if there's anyone closer, they might be able to get there sooner.
I will not receive any messages.
Obviously.
So
That's
Of course
fine.
you
I
won't.
send a message to you by spiritual commune.
failing the antennas in the area for communications are really good. Sadly, the one for spiritual commune is down, so you cannot reach
Damn.
Janice.
Am I to assume Janice doesn't have a landline phone either?
You can assume that as well, because that would be true.
Okay, fine. If I don't have a way to contact him, I won't. I was just thinking if it was
Don't
just
you
I
carry
mean, if
one?
I'm driving, you can ask me to pick him up.
Yeah.
Don't you carry one of his pigeons though with you? Now you're a member of this cult.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, probably.
Yeah.
probably lives in the pocket with all my many phones. No, I mean I don't know if I'm with Matilda, then yes, we'll stop by and see if we can get him.
Oh yes, because you will be spending time with Matilda.
Yeah.
Sure, I'm not driving myself. There's a reason I took 0 dots in driving.
Yeah, don't worry. Matilda has like 16 dots in drive. She's
All
a
the
crack.
dots.
Well, she's
the
also
A stunt driver.
yeah.
This one. But yeah, no, we can go around and pick Yanis up.
If you're that good at driving, you're going to turn me into the kind of person that's a terrible passenger. If I get in the car with anyone else, I'll just be like, "You can get a bus through there. Come on."
I will soon stop driving you with that attitude.
So Carl will say that he is also like on his way to the domain. He's going to be there shortly, so he can ask the mariner that's driving him, which is not Ruben. He's one of Ruben's guys.
Do I need to pick anybody up? I will say.
No, you can be dropped at Janice's, and then Matilda can pick the lot of you.
Okay.
And make way for Purdown, which is not a very far drive away. I mean, you just have to go around. So for those of you...
Is this within our domain?
It is right on the edge of your domain.
Is it the bit where it's like the Anak Camarilla, like the nexus, or like...
It is, yes, it is right where it's on the area of the domain, on the south of your domain, that is closer to yours, your domain looks like a pizza, like a poorly cut pizza slice. So if you go down towards the tip of it, on the right hand side, there is a big area Purdown that has a park and areas around it, and there is other things around there, like the BT tower and the battery, or what are now the barracks. So during the Second World War, the city of Bristol suffered heavy casualties from German bombing raids, and several bunkers were built during that time. There was also a ring of heavy gun batteries that were positioned in this area. There's a hill, the BT tower is on top of it. So this is an area that is right now derelict. And this is a place that people go and check them out, and they are old batteries that were used as barracks, but they're completely abandoned. And then kids go there in the evening to, get naughty, get high, drink, do stuff. As you approach, Peter, can you make a roll for Janice? It would be I want to say resolve plus occult.
Resolve plus occult, sure.
I'd like to have a premonition, please, Carl.
Go for it. You please roll your premonition power.
Nice.
Whoa. That is 6 successes, not crit win, but 6 successes, which is kind of impressive for the
what can I say?
Old cult leader. And in
So why is a good cult leader?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm rolling the right thing.
Go to your
Try
powers.
again. There we go.
That's your
Hunger successes.
Okay, you don't go hungry. Now
That's a rouse roll. Why is that rolling rouse when it says premonition?
Oh,
you have to rouse.
You have to rouse to use the check. And now
if you use it actively,
right.
And now you have to roll next to where it says resolve plus discipline.
And okay. Well, I'm trying to do that.
Yeah, sometimes it gets a little.
Sometimes there's a delay.
Yes, between you clicking.
And it appearing.
Resolve plus discipline.
It will ask you for a modifier, so there might be a pop-up box somewhere.
Yeah, no modifiers for this one.
Okay. There we go.
Okay, 2 successes.
There's not much point in using. Oh, I can re-roll 2, can't I? If I use willpower.
Yes, you can re-roll 2. So you go to willpower and then WP re-roll. Just choose 2 dice.
I should never have said this. Okay, WP re-roll. Yeah, because I've been.
You've been ridiculously filled with your you have been following and pursuing your ambition and desires. So, yes.
Yeah.
So just
two
dice.
two dice to re-roll. There
Yep.
we go. Yeah. Oh, blimey. There you
Wow,
go.
four successes.
4 successes on my...
Okay, so you are walking towards the place. And Janus notices something odd. Very odd. The placement of certain things is weird. Very strange. As if a word had been said there. Carl sees...
With my critical.
With your... Yes, you go... Carl sees the four of you walking, and then the first one, the one that's taking point, which is Nanjacel,
It'll be me, yep.
taking a step into this thing, and her foot having a backlash, like a mini explosion or something of fire, and she getting blown, like
Getting exploded backwards.
yes.
Okay,
Like
I'll call out to Nanj. Be very, very
You do this
careful.
before I reach the circle, not just some kind of punishment for Annie.
I've just seen something, and I think we need to be very careful.
I'll go. What's the problem, Carl?
I've just seen you as if you've just stepped on a landmine if you go into where we're going.
And that is the final thing that gets Janus's head to click and tick, and you go like, yes, this is some sort of very powerful ward. Or not very powerful, just enough to affect Kindred.
So there is... The placement of things here has been altered in an occult manner. One strong enough to hurt us. And I'll point to where I think it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's pointing in the direction Carl saw in the small vision.
That's where I saw. Yes.
If I
sorry, Carlos, can we see the body inside? Is it placed inside?
Because these are barracks that are it's like the sunken. So you are walking towards the place, so you can down and just getting into this place is gonna get you into the world of pain.
So has this ward been placed within our domain?
Yes. This is your domain.
Can I say to Jan then, if we move these things around, does that mean this won't work like that?
It would be a mistake to enter that area.
I mean,
if you do so, you will burn.
Intelligence plus occult.
Who?
Oh, sorry, Peter. Peter. Janus. Well, whomever has occult.
Don't put me down for that.
Okay. So Janus will know with his 4 successes that wards usually are set on objects and or areas. So if you manage to disturb whatever was holding the thing, you can nullify it. The thing is that you believe it is within the circle. This has been done meticulously, and this is different from the rituals and blood sorcery that you have encountered. Because for you, it's not blood sorcery. For you, it's Coldonism. You are a Coldun, and you do.
And this is not Coldonism that we're seeing.
This is not Coldonism. This is thaumaturgy.
Thaumaturgy.
All right. So I will say this.
You knowing your rituals and your occult.
I'll say this is the kind of foul arts practiced by the clan Tremere.
Wow.
Oh.
And it has no business being performed within our domain.
How do we get rid of it then?
Could I ask some passerby nicely to go and disturb it for us?
Could have the similar effect.
Right.
So, but precisely it has been placed here to protect something else. Something within this area.
You know who should be able to get rid of this? Oscar. And he's in our detonator. So I reckon we go get him and make him undo it.
Is he in the domain tonight, or is he with the Camarilla at the moment?
Camarilla.
Right. Do we have a number? We didn't give him a phone. Do we have a number for him?
Yes.
Just
But I
have to
mean,
wait until it comes-
if he
well.
he will tell
I
you
reckon-
he can try and undo it if he knows how to undo it.
Or if he doesn't know how to do it, if he don't know how to undo it, and he dies in the process, ain't no skin off anyone's nose, is it? At the end of the day, we're in a situation here where some woman is phoning up, telling a neighbour, watch, there's a real looking skeleton around here. This is a potential breach of the masquerade. So it don't matter if he's out having coffee with his Tremere buddies, does it?
Well, you can always. Nanch can always send a text saying false alarm or whatever, or I'm here. Or, you can try. You are the first line of defense against masquerade breaches in your own domain.
Yes, but we can't see whether this is one.
Seems to me like a trap.
Very much
The
like
kind
that.
of bait that would draw us out, that would draw us to this place where, had we not had the benefit of Carl's discerning eye, then we might have fallen afoul of it.
It seems unlikely because I'm not the kind of person who doesn't make friends easily. So from that point of view, I don't know who would wish any of us harm.
Wow. That is the next thing we must discover. So I'll look around.
I'm just pondering Bex's double negative or Nan's double negative going. Not the kind of person who doesn't make. That means Nanj thinks she makes friends easily. And I look at her and I just...
So, you were saying, Peter, sorry?
Yeah, let's just going to look around the area to see if... Are we in like an urban area here?
No. This is on the park, in the Purdown area. It is pretty much empty.
It's a countryside, isn't it?
Is there any water? Are there any rivers here or lakes or anything else near where this ward is?
No, not nearby, no.
Yeah, and what happens if I throw a stone in there? Does that set it off?
No, it won't.
I think it unlikely. It will respond to something animate.
Right.
Something with some measure of soul or spirit.
I think it appalling that they used the place where we staged the Heath scenes in King Lear for this.
It is an abomination, Carl.
I mean, it's not great, but it ain't the worst thing that's happened since we got here, is it?
Yeah, I mean, if from what Carl saw, it is not enough to kill someone outright, but it will severely damage Nanyasel, which is the person he saw. Janus will know, again, if you manage to tamper, like if you manage to withstand the sorcery that has been used, and you tamper with the centerpiece of it, then it can be removed. If not, you will have to wait until the effect passes, and there is no telling when it will pass. And there is a possibility of tourists during the day may trigger something, and then you have an issue.
Sure. So Janus will say, something must be done, for if a mortal was to disturb this place, it would cause an effect that this world of the kind could not explain, one which would draw attention to our domain.
So we got to trigger it off them.
That is the swiftest way to deal with it, but also the most dangerous.
What
One of your dogs do?
What you're talking about is dogs. I can go in there and trigger it off, can't I? You just got to make sure there's people around so we can eat afterwards.
Well,
it seems to me that we have
sneak into a few houses like you normally do.
Well,
we
it won't
have
be that easy if half my face is missing, will it?
Yeah, no.
I am not comfortable putting you at risk, Nanjazal.
You're not putting me at risk. I'm volunteering to do it, aren't I?
I am not comfortable standing by while you risk yourself when there must be
Well, you
other
can't go in
methods.
there, can you?
No, I was not suggesting any of us go in there.
Well, you said it needs doing quicker.
Needs doing tonight,
Right.
but there is still some time left. There are others I would much rather step into that ward if it must be done.
Oscar, you mean?
Well, you've got to take one for
I
the
don't-
team, innit? This is people setting this up. Call it. What do you call
Well,
it?
he should be
Karmic
back. He
balance.
should be back at some point.
It may be that he would be able to remove it, but I am not convinced that he will have any more success than I will. This aberration has been done. It has been put in place.
Do you think we are being watched?
Why would you say that?
I do not believe so,
Good.
but it is possible.
If he said that, can I do a recce of this area? Obviously not going in the circle, to see if I can find anyone watching us.
Yeah, it's fairly simple, and no, there's nobody. This is literally
I know
like
it's
woods.
far right,
This is
but
like
yes.
like the only type of construction there's around is the bunkers.
The tower.
Yeah.
Okay,
And the
right.
tower, yeah.
What time of night is it?
It is about 11 going on midnight p.m.
Right.
Well,
Yanis, do you know exactly what it is would need to be removing in order, like, once someone goes in there, how do we dismantle it?
If you walk with me, I will show you the perimeter of this construction, and
Perhaps
it will
you'll
be
be
the
able to
object within
spot
the
a
middle
weak
of it.
point. Do you think you could spot a weak point if we walk the perimeter?
Possible.
Yeah. Yeah,
let's all walk them.
you do know with your knowledge you could find not a weak point, but a point of entry that could be used. And if someone has the tools to, again, if you can identify what is the thing that you need to disturb or how to step in, because blood sorcery is not like a landmine literally. It will fight against the person setting it up. Like, if you imagine an elder trying to walk into that, it's very unlikely that anything will happen to an elder.
So Yanis, after a moment, will say, Nanjazal, perhaps I misspoke earlier. Perhaps it should be I that go through.
Why?
Let us find a space. Because as I say, this is an aberration.
Yeah,
and
but
there are other things that might aid me to pass it.
There might be
You reckon-
another trap layered within, so careful.
If that
You're
is the case,
sure
I'll be
certain
grateful
you're
that you
the-
are here.
You're certain you're the only person who can go through there.
Unless you are all withholding knowledge that you possess. But I assume not.
I know nothing of this mumbo jumbo, to be honest.
This is not mumbo jumbo, Carl. This is filth. Filth performed upon the earth.
Well, you know how I like filth.
If I'm being perfectly honest, I'm fairly robust. No offense, Yanis, but I could probably handle a bit of fire better than you. But given what Carl has shared with Annie, I'm not in any great hurry to go in.
So
Step into the
Yanis
fire.
is going to make a slow trot around the perimeter because
Not
Carl
big. The area's not
suggest-
big. Just
he'll
around
look
this
to see if
bunker.
there is anywhere, perhaps where there are natural features which might create a
All
kind
of
of a sense of. If there is any way where the flow of the earth itself or anything like that feels like it's naturally moving through this barrier,
Yes.
he
yes.
might go to that place.
Yes, there is a sort of a gap where the earth, like the construction has collapsed, sort of like the earth has made a way, so you can get to the bottom of the barrack instead of using the stairs, which have been condemned because they're unsafe. But you can walk through there.
So when I get to the point where the barrier is, I will say, Nanjaza, would you support my arm a moment? Hold me steady.
I'll do that. I'll also take out a gun, because who knows what's going to happen, and I might need to shoot something.
So I will take off my footwear, and then I'll take out a knife, and I will make a prayer, firstly of thanks to Perun, of course, for sending the vision to Carl, but then, of course, to Kupala, where I will then take the knife and I will slash the soles of my feet with it.
Okay. Do your rouse check, please.
Okay.
Look, I'm moved by this. I've seen it before.
Nan does a little tear.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll suddenly be worried that his clothes might be going to fall off.
Yeah,
Be
here we
thinking, have I
go.
got new clothes in the car?
Okay.
Okay, Roots of Power succeeded. Do you want to re-roll? You have 1, 2, 3 successes and 3 non...
I suppose so. Yeah, why not? I think he is actually quite motivated to overpower this foul concoction.
Okay, cool.
So willpower reroll, and I can reroll 3, can't I?
Yes, 3. 3 of them. So that is really good. So your Koldunic ritual succeeded. So the margin was. So you have a margin of 3 actually with it. So
And then when
yes.
I was going to say that when that's done, there'll be a moment where he will place his bloody feet onto the earth and begin to kind of settle them in, feel it, connect to it.
Make your rouse check for the blood that you're using for it.
Oh yeah,
Because it's a ritual, and rituals use blood.
yeah. Gotta love your rouse check.
Love a ritual.
Yeah.
Love a good.
And after and you don't go hungry. And after a few minutes of chanting, Carl has been looking at Matilda and the road just to see.
I've been
and at some point,
I whisper to Matilda, this is all for show. I mean, the magic takes about 5 seconds.
Carl looks up and sees in the sky the stars, and then looks to his side to the bloody feet of Janice. He remembers this from when you were made a coterie for the first time.
It was my vision, standing in a field with bloody feet.
And he asks, is this going to work?
Yes,
This is going to work.
yes, it will.
I've seen it.
Of course it's going to work. It always works when he does it, doesn't it?
Hope so.
Roll resolve plus intelligence plus 2 dice from your Roots of Power, Peter.
Okay. So, am I going to have to roll those separately, effectively?
No. Resolve plus intelligence plus 2.
Oh, resolve. Oh, there we go. Intelligence. On it. Here we go.
Nice.
Wow, that's 4, 5, 6,
And it's a
7
crit
successes, critical win.
Nice.
Okay,
Nice one.
making it epic. You see how Genesis starts walking, his feet to the earth, and then he takes one foot and passes it over, and he feels some pressure, and he just continues his chanting, and you hear something that sounds like Kupala as he says it, and stomps his feet on the ground, and it is as if the air rippled and tried to do something, but he is rejecting it outright. And he and just the air parts way as Genesis walks. He just walks untouched, unharmed, unscathed. A few more steps, and then he knocks with his cane the stone in which the ward had been set upon. Completely protected by the power of Kupala. Only to find a very real-looking skeleton, dressed in modern clothes. And the reason why it is very real-looking is because it is a real skeleton. It has decomposed enough to remain a skeleton. Flesh and muscles, sinew, all of them withered away. But the fangs on the skull, this close, betray the origin. Kindred, possibly an ancilla. And Carl recognizes a ring in his finger. It is the ring of Jonathan Fowler, member of the Ventru clan, and by virtue of birth, a living nephew of Mary de Taureau.
I look at the ring and my mind begins to whir, and I look first at Matilda and say, I hate to tell you this, my dear, but you may be in trouble. This is a Ventru body on our domain.
That means we've already got problems. Someone either did this not here and brought them here, or worse, they did it here.
And they had help from the Tremere.
Who is it?
Well, it is a blood member of my family who was taken into your clan. I'm going to go over and I'm going to take the ring.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now that you're close.
Yes, the answer is it is safe now.
Yeah.
Yes, it is safe.
Chap
I'm
in
gonna-
your car.
I just kind of skitter down the stairs, just like I walk down the banister as I'm able to without any sort of worries about falling off.
Yeah.
And just go and take the ring off finger and say, well, they'll know it's a vampire skeleton if anybody else finds it.
That's why I'm saying we should put it in the boot of a car and take it with us, because we're going to have to tell somebody about this.
Nange, we should put it in a box.
Put in.
That's what we should
Well,
do.
you just said in it, the boot of the car.
Sure, I want an ancillary body. Oh, I'm not sure I want. Really?
Well,
Where are we going to take? Where are we going to take it?
Oh wait. Now that you're close, Matilda, please can you roll intelligence plus awareness? Because there is some. Sorry, no, it's not intelligence. It's wits plus awareness. Please. Wits,
Okay,
because
wits awareness.
You're not looking at it. It's just wits plus awareness.
Right. Sorry, I'm taking forever.
Yeah, the roll 20 usually does that. I apologize for that.
Don't worry. Right.
Because, okay, so Matilda, she has been in the Anarchs long enough
Yeah.
to recognize, even though she has not partaken into this sort of like an Anarch tradition, that this Kindred has been the victim of diablerie. And with that, we're going to draw episode 4 to a close. Thank you very much to my lovely players. Thank you to everyone for
Thank you, Carl.
putting up with us for an extra 20 minutes of a session. But this is the mid-season break, and I needed to have a nice cliffhanger. And don't forget, next week, Peter,
We need to talk about Fellow.
Come on, P-Man.
come and join us. We will be here waiting for you lovingly. Until then, we expect also to see you on episode 5, coming back on the 23rd of November of Blood on the Severn. Take care, wash your hands, and just be sensible. We love you. Bye.
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 Good.